my god, look at his face. He looks like he's about to devour me. Ugh, hot. Hello, and welcome to Arum. This is an Eldritch horror dating sim in which you play as a writer staying at your family's house while they're gone for the week. However, something is very, very wrong. Let's get started. Please input your preferred name here. The sunlight hits your eyes through the small square windows in the far wall, and you blink awake. Your vision is blurred for a few minutes as you blink the sleep from your eyes and then groan loudly as you sit up. You don't know exactly when you woke up, but more importantly, you're not sure when you fell asleep. You never would have chosen to fall asleep at your desk, bent at the uncomfortable angle that you're at, very much regretting. Unfortunately, you also can't say that this is the first time you fell asleep while working so late into the night. And it won't be the last either. Your desk is littered with scattered papers, a swarm of various textures, colors, and sizes. Each page is marked with whatever writing tool you're able to get a hold of at the time. Crayons, pens, one instance of a marker that had smudged terrifically across multiple pages. It looks like you've been making a mess of it for weeks, despite you only being here for sub 12 hours. True to form, when you got in last night, you didn't unpack much. Your suitcase is open, shoved in a corner of the small basement studio. Your pack is on the couch, completely deflated and looking ravaged. It was the only thing you unpacked last night, resulting in the mess that served as your pillow. A ring of books borders your desk stacked high to resemble a fortress wall. There aren't nearly enough shelves down here. You stretch your stiff neck, then rub the sleep from your eyes when, suddenly, there's a sound from the floorboards above you, freezing you in place. A sudden moment of clarity washes over you. You realize that must have been the sound that woke you up, creaking steps above you in the main house. You're supposed to be alone. You grab the old wooden bat your father affectionately calls the security system and head upstairs, keeping a low profile. Your footsteps are quiet on the stairs. You round the staircase into the large foyer of the main house. The front door is closed, but your ears did not deceive you. You're definitely not alone. Who are you? They stop visibly and whirl around. Aww, Aster, I love you. I miss you. Look at him. Look at his hair. Look how pretty he is. He's so hot. Oh, I fucking love him. Look at his sharp teeth as well. Oh, the person is very tall. Oh, you don't say. Easily one of the tallest people you've ever seen. He's paler than most as well, his skin nearly pearlescent in color. Spot the Eldritch horror in disguise. His hair is a dark and disheveled mid-length cut, and his features, down to his jawline, are razor sharp. But there's one feature that really catches your gaze. His eyes. They're bright with a gold that reminds you of sunshine and an intelligence that gives you pause. He's obviously surprised by you, but he recovers quickly. His gaze rakes you up and down, taking in the sight of you, brandishing your bat and likely terrified expression. His own expression relaxes quickly. He looks almost amused. My apologies. I wasn't anticipating anyone at home. His voice is deeper than you expected. Too deep for the litheness of his frame and features. It has a rolling quality like thunder that distracts you. Ugh. Your answer is more sputtering than you would have hoped for. Obviously, but here I am, so... You gesture with your bat, somewhere between a threat to swing and a sweep in his direction. You're sweating, and you pray he doesn't notice. You also hope they don't notice how disheveled you are. God, you also hope you don't have dry drool on your face. You cut off the thought. It's utter nonsense. You better get out before I call the police. Oh wait, no. I called the police already, so don't make me use this bat. The lanky, frustratingly attractive man before you chuckles, sending another short circuit through your brain. It's a haunting sound. Not the loveliest you've heard, it's far too visceral to be lovely, like the dry groan of a tree trunk snapping. I'm very sorry. It seems there must have been some kind of misunderstanding. He takes a step forward, his stance still unsettlingly relaxed, and slides a hand into his pocket. I'm supposed to be here. For the cat? You blink once, twice. For the cat? Your mind feels sluggish, embarrassingly slow at pulling up the image of the large grey and black tabby. Bartholomew? What a name! Your face flushes red immediately. You quietly curse yourself and the damn cat. Aster's smile has a wicked edge, amusement twinkling in his golden hues. He's so hot when he smiles. Oh. So, may I ask your name? You clear your throat, desperately trying to dredge together some semblance of composure. Of course, I'm sorry, I'm Yinny. Lovely to meet you, Yinny. Aster let himself in without knocking or anything. That's expected. He didn't realize anyone was here. Weird. Really fucking weird. Unsettling, but makes sense. Bartholomew, as if knowing what kind of embarrassment he's caused you, appears at the bottom of the stairs. He passes you without a glance and winds himself around Aster's legs, purring loudly. Your eyebrows raise, mildly impressed. Barty isn't known for talking to many people outside of the family, and even then is considered more of a curmudgeonly roommate than a companion. It's as much confirmation as any that Aster is being honest with you. He's clearly familiar with the cat. He leans down, bending his long legs to scratch behind Bartholomew's ears. The cat nuzzles against him happily before making his way into the kitchen, looking back expectantly for Aster to follow. He doesn't, instead straightening himself and directing his attention to you once more. Again, my apologies for the shock. Apparently your sister failed to communicate the entirety of the plan to either of us. Your brain stutters once more, struggling to assign meaning to his words. Your sister? Oh, of course. You roll your eyes and finally drop your stance with the bat, leaning it against the wall by the front door instead. Camilla must have asked them to check in on the cat while the family was away. It was quite like her to forget to alert you to a change of plans, actually. You sigh loudly. That makes sense. I'm sorry about this. You chuckle awkwardly. Aster nods, his smile growing marginally. Not to worry, I don't mind at all. Your face heats and it takes effort not to avert your gaze, but you refuse to let this man get the best of you. Can he hold me? Or at least, not let him know that he has. So, are you a social worker too? Oh my god, that's hot. Yay! The man's scleras have suddenly, one, turned black, his grin has widened to show unnaturally sharp teeth, and your reaction is, oh, he's hot. Well, he is though. You're met with a bark of startled laughter. It's both jarring and contagious, making you smile as well. No, I'm very much not. I work in the legal department. You snort, fair enough, you suppose. Those are quite opposing fields at times. Are you here alone? Suspicious question to ask. The question throws you off immediately and you frown at him. Due to the trip, I mean. He seems to note the discomfort he's caused and is quick to try and amend it. Camilla mentioned the whole family was going and yet you're here. They all went to Europe, was it? Some kind of tour? Why was I not invited? Ah, yes, that. You let out a long sigh through your nose. You're definitely not bitter about that. Definitely not bitter. Yeah, unfortunately I had a big project that overlapped a lot with the trip, so I wasn't able to go. But of course my project ended early. By the time I found out, it was too late to change plans, so here I am. Stuck at home while my family gallivants through... I think it's Italy at the moment. I see. That is quite disappointing. You forget yourself for a moment and snort loudly, nodding. Sure is. In the following pause, you mentally throttle yourself for snorting like that. Embarrassing. You smooth your hands over your clothing, half smoothing wrinkles, as if you can somehow salvage this incredibly awkward introduction. Luckily, Aster is gracious enough to ignore your snort just as he's been ignoring your disheveled state. And what do you do for work? I am a ghostwriter. I get hired to do the brunt of the writing on major projects. Books sometimes, articles, publications. The most recent contract was for a movie and I had to be on location for the duration of it. Sounds quite glamorous. It's really not. It sounds much better than it is. Boring locations, a lot of work, no credit. The money is pretty good if I'm honest, but I move around so much that it's not really much use to me. I'd rather be in Europe, I guess is what I'm saying. You trail off. Why are you oversharing to the stranger? Well, if you'd like, I can walk you through the routine for the cat since I'm familiar. It's quite simple. That would be great, thank you. He walks you through the aptly described simple routine for Barty. Camilla has been known to go overboard for her cat, but it seems at the moment she has him on a very reasonable regimen of wet food. So, how did Camilla rope you into taking care of her cat? You smirk at him a little. She's your sister, and the cat is in the house you'll be living in for the foreseeable future, so it made perfect sense for you to take care of Bart. But some not quite co-worker friend, a lawyer, nonetheless. Well, I'm sure you're familiar. Camilla does not make it easy to say no to her. You chuckle. You were very familiar. But if I'm being honest, she did persuade me in part by the idea that I might get to meet you. Wait, what? Oh? Your eyebrows shoot up into your hairline, and you don't even want to guess how red your face is. Very, based on the feeling of it. Aster was not polite about this particular show of embarrassment. In fact, he seemed to enjoy it. Oh my god, so he likes making me squirm. Oh my god, that face. She talks about you often, and I'll admit, I was quite curious about you. You look at your hands, focusing very hard on the rough edge of your thumbnail. Well, I do apologize that you were so aggressively conned. Hopefully you can get some kind of work reimbursement? God, what are you even saying? This is horrible. Abort mission, you need to get out of here. I don't think that'll be necessary. I'm finding it to have been very worthy of my time. You genuinely hope you burst into flames so you don't have to make eye contact with Aster with your face this intensely red. Your face may have actually turned purple by now. And what you're starting to suspect is a very rare act of mercy. Aster deftly changes the subject. I only just moved here a few months ago. I must admit this town is much quieter than I typically prefer. I usually find myself drawn to cities, but I chose to live nearby to shorten my commute. Perhaps you can enlighten me on some local entertainment. Sadly, not likely. This town makes small towns look busy. It's barely a town at all. Everything's so far apart from everything else. Ah, so you're a seasoned local, I take it. Yeah. The house is new, but the town, we've been here for as long as I can remember. And I wasted very little time running for the hills. Not that this can't be a nice place to live, it's just not my thing. And what is your thing exactly? I enjoyed Boston a lot. It's got the city energy, but it's not quite as crowded as Manhattan. Aster is strangely easy to talk to. Even while fumbling and humiliating yourself with a shocking amount of regularity, talking to him is effortless. Too effortless, honestly. You clamp your mouth shut on your next words before you can embarrass yourself further. He's charming, calm, clever, exactly the kind of person Camilla would usually befriend. You wonder why she's never mentioned him before, even with him being new. Well, I won't keep you further, given that I obviously interrupted your day. No, well, I mean, yes, but no, it wasn't a problem, thank you. Oh my god, stop talking while you're ahead. I did set aside this time to continue checking on the cat for the remainder of the week. If you don't mind, I have no problem continuing to do so. It's tempting to say yes, just to have him by again, but it's so much of an imposition that you can't bring yourself to agree. No, I couldn't ask that. Thank you though, it's very kind of you. Aster acquiesces and heads to the door. You walk with him, already making a mental note to ask Camilla why she hasn't talked about him before. I wonder why. Seems suspicious. They must get along pretty well for her to talk about your family with him. It was a genuine pleasure to meet you, Yinny. I hope our paths cross again soon. You collected yourself enough to at least not flush completely maroon at this and sputter out a goodbye. With your unexpected guest now gone, you head down to get ready for the day. Traveling yesterday was exhausting and you can't shake the feeling that you didn't sleep at all. Probably thanks to sleeping at your desk rather than a bed. You finish unpacking the majority of your clothes, tossing dirty clothes into one pile, clean into another. You want to wash up, take a shower, refresh yourself, but the books are a problem. They're piled on nearly every surface of the room, including the floor, making navigating the space unnecessarily nightmarish. You decide instead to change out your travel clothes, splash your face with some water, brush your teeth, and spend a good chunk of the day clearing your floor. Finally, you put most of your books on a shelf or another, and place all your current research within easy access, piled on your desk and the kitchenette counter. Your phone buzzes loudly. You anticipate Camilla is checking in on Barty, but the name is one that surprises you. Theo. Theo was the kind of friend who had always almost been something, but never was, for one reason or another. It had been a while since you'd last spoken, more than a year. The last time you'd be living in the area. Hey, Yinny, I heard you're back in town. You stare at the phone, trying to decide what to do when it buzzes again. Want to catch up? You respond with, alright. You're kind of tired, but you're willing to spend time with them. No sooner than you send off your response do you hear a knocking on the door upstairs. You sigh to yourself. You like seeing Theo, but part of you had hoped to have some time to mentally prepare. You go to open the door and let Theo in. Oh, he's cute. I want his jacket so bad. They smile broadly when they see you, but you know them too well for that. You can see the nervousness in their eyes. Hey, so nice to see you. I hope just stopping by was fine. You bite back your reflexive response of, well, it has to be, I guess, and instead smile at them, waving them inside. Hey, at least you knocked. Why wouldn't I knock? Sorry, ignore me. There's just been an unusual amount of visitors today. You wave Theo inside. They look around, admiring the grand foyer entrance. It was certainly much larger than your old family home. House is very nice. Thanks. It was built in the 1800s or something. Dad's really into it. As he should be. It's something to be proud of. Please tell him I send congrats. You grin at them. Theo defaults to politeness when they're nervous. They've done this since they were 8 years old, something that made you fast friends. There was something you found genuinely hilarious about an 8-year-old being so formal at that age. True to form, Theo holds out their hand for you to shake, and you snort back a laugh before grasping it and shaking it with cartoonish vigor. Hello, sir. Yes, how do you do? They roll their eyes at your terrible joke, but it has the desired effect, and their smile relaxes. Come on, my place is downstairs. You lead them down into the basement apartment, moving some notebooks off the couch to make room for you to sit. As you move the books, you notice one on top of the pile that you don't remember putting there. Oh, it's a play titled The King in Yellow. Oh no! Also, the letters are all glitchy. What the fuck was that? It's a book titled The Shadow Over Innsmouth. The title just glitched. You hold it a moment longer before placing it off to the side again. You feel like you're forgetting something you want to remember, but it doesn't matter right now. I see you're still traveling with all your books. This isn't all my books. Oh, haha, I see. Very funny. You roll your eyes at them and take a seat. So, how's your trip? You smile stiffly. This is the difficult part with Theo. Despite the fact that you have been friends for more than 2/3 of your lives, every meeting after a time apart feels like this. Awkward, forced. It's hard to remember in these moments that it won't stay that way, but it's true. Eventually, it goes back to normal and you're so glad to have them in your life. This though, this was by far the longest you've ever gone without talking, regularly at least. It was long. I'm tired, but it's nice to be back. I'm glad the project's done. It was not my favorite. You can see the question form in their mind, almost form on the tongue. Then why go? Why go so far, for so long? But neither of you want to have that fight again, so they go in a different direction. Well, I'm glad to have you back, Yinny. I'd love to go back to seeing you more often. Me too, Theo. There's a slightly too long pause. So, how long are you back then? They're trying to be neutral about it, but you can see how nervous this question makes them. I'm actually going to be around for a while. I don't plan on taking any new projects anytime soon. Really? Why not? You love to travel. You smile at their sincerity, but your wanderlust may have been the cause of many fights, but they never deny you out of it. Yeah, I do, but I'm tired of working on other people's ideas. At least for now, I want to do something on my own. That's amazing, you should. I've always said your talents were better spent on your own stuff. There's a pause. You know they mean well, but the comment still makes your teeth clench. It's the same thing they said the last time you spoke, that selling your skills without taking credit was a waste of your abilities, like you were participating in some grand deception of the public. Yeah, I know. Anyway, how's work for you? Actually, it's great. That certainly wasn't the answer you're expecting. For years, Theo had been working a job where they hated their boss, their work, and basically everything but the paycheck. I left my old job. Obviously, things weren't going well. I ended up reaching out to, you remember that restaurant on Common Street, the one with the fire last year? You nod. Well, this woman, her name is, it doesn't matter. But she brought the restaurant, completely remodeled it. She brought on a new executive chef, and they brought me on as their chef de pâtissier. Your grin is genuine, and you feel the relief flood through you as the awkwardness shatters. Theo, that's amazing. You wanted this for so long. I'm so proud of you for going after it. Thanks. Yeah, you're right. And I should have told you about it right away, but I wanted to see the look on your face. It makes it feel more real. You take the hand in yours and give it a firm squeeze before pulling it back into your own lap and clasping your hands together. It really is different when you love what you do. I'm sorry I didn't understand that before. Your smile falters slightly, but you manage to keep it in place. That's okay. You get it now, right? They proceed to tell you every detail of their new job, including several that go over your head, like the ideal baking soda to baking powder ratio. So, what's the Yinny project? That question comes out of nowhere, and for a moment you're too surprised to answer. Theo never asks about your writing. You're working on a mystery novel horror play script. Horror? Damn, that sounds cool. When it gets to the big stage though, I'm gonna need you not to tease me mercilessly if honestly, if I cry. I'm a wuss. You laugh hard enough to let them know you absolutely cannot make that kind of promise. You're laughing too hard to hide it and they grin awkwardly, waiting out your amusement with flushed cheeks. Theo glances over and sees a book on the table. Plucking it up, wedged between the pages is the bookmark you've had for several years. It's a series of cut-up plane tickets all taped together, each trimmed down to show only the date and destination. Current read? Research, I take it? You fight the urge to snatch the book from their hands. You're not sure why it bothers you so much that they hold it, but your fingers twitch in your lap. Something is wrong with that book. Yeah, I'd say research. It's an interesting one. Hard to explain though, one of those unknowable horror books, you know? But I don't think you'd like it. Too scary. You force a smile and they nod, placing the book down between you. You grab it, holding it in your lap and running your thumb over the pages. The book is soft from wear and age, and pieces of paper sit loosely pressed within it. I read something that had a similar vibe a few weeks ago. I bet you really like it. I could bring it for you at some point, maybe. You smile at them and nod. That'd be great! And you want to distort your last word, and you cover your mouth to block most of it. I should let you rest. You're obviously tired, and you only just got home. They stand wiping their palms on their pants, anxiously before they turn to face you. You stand as well, and there's a long pause. I'll, walk you to the door. This is new. Usually once the awkwardness passes, it's passed, at least until the next gap of communication. It's already returned with a vengeance, and you find yourself walking them up the stairs in the tense silence. Well, thanks for having me over. Of course, it was, good to see you again, and I'll see you soon. They hesitate at the door, shifting their weight back and forth before holding out their arms to you for a hug. They let you decide whether to close the distance or not, but you know you couldn't bear the idea of leaving your oldest friend there like that. The hug feels awkward. You still fit together as naturally as you always have. Your arms are wrapped around their torso, one of theirs is around your shoulders, the other cradling the back of your head gingerly. But something feels strange about it, and you have a suspicion it has to do with how loudly their heart pounds in their ribs. You head back downstairs, flinging yourself onto the bed. It's the first time you've actually laid on it and surprisingly comfortable. You roll over and about to take an ill-advised, far too late in the day to be a good idea nap when your phone buzzes. You don't bother containing your loud groan before you grab it. Now what? This time, it actually is Camilla, sending you pictures from the trip. You scroll through them with a half smile on your face. Most of them are your dad trying to pretend to hold up the Leaning Tower of Pisa and failing, and looking like he's subsequently on the brink of being crushed by the landmark. Your mum is visible in the foreground, blushing furiously and definitely pretending not to know your dad. On top of Camilla's forehead and one eye is visible in the bottom left corner of some of the pictures. You assume she was trying to take both a selfie and capture your parents' antics in the same photo. You feel an odd tug on your heart, a pang that tugs down the corner of your mouth. It's almost like loneliness. Feeling left out, maybe. Not for the first time. You wish they could have planned their trip just a few weeks later so you could have gone too. You close the conversation out without answering her. The rest of your evening passes uneventfully. Bartholomew made his first appearance since Aster had left, refusing to enter the studio and just choosing instead to cry loudly from just outside the door. Why does the cat refuse to enter the space? You try to go out and gather him, but he refuses to let you catch him, much less bring him into the studio apartment. Upon giving up, he inevitably returns, yowling once more and pacing by the stairs. You follow him up the stairs, wondering if maybe Barty is going to lead you to what he wants, but he simply paces around the foyer, meowing plaintively. He sounds so distressed that it upsets you, but you're helpless. You don't know what he wants. Well, they always say that pets can see forces that we can't, so now I'm worried. Finally, he goes upstairs and you give up. Maybe he just misses Camilla. Cats don't understand the difference between gone for a while and gone forever. It's late, and you still haven't eaten, but to be honest, you're really not hungry either. You? You're good. No need to force the issue. You eat when you get hungry. You'd expected the cat to come back, but now it's not even meowing at your door anymore. You decide to go upstairs and set out its wet food for dinner and one of the treats Camilla left. You thought Barty would want to spend more time with you. It's been a while since you were around him, but he always liked you up until now, even if he was Camilla's cat and not yours. Not to mention, with no one else home, you're really the only option for cuddles or affection. But even with the food and the treats out, he still doesn't come to you. You wait for a while, even taking some steps back and waiting further to see if he'll come, calling him a few more times. He doesn't come, but you hear the sound of him scampering around upstairs playing with something. You can't help but feel a bit rejected by the cat, and maybe a little offended. At the very least, the cat's behavior is very strange. Maybe Barty just doesn't remember you. He isn't the friendliest cat in the world, and he's certainly not the brightest. You decide to leave the door open for Bartholomew anyway, in case he changes his mind and wants to sleep with you, rather than by himself in Camilla's room. You settle in for the evening, and pick up the book you started in on the flight. You constantly forget the title. Something about monarchies and... No wait, that doesn't sound right. You got at a tax sale, and the cover is so worn that you can't make out the title page anymore. Like many older books and plays, it also doesn't have a title page inside the book, it simply begins. So you have to settle for what you remember from the description the man at the tag sale gave. It's an old, obscure play with a strange reputation, but the first act has been mind-numbingly boring. Oh yeah, it's the freaking King in Yellow book! It's supposed to be a very dramatic, psychological thriller type of play, but so far, mundane at best. You remove your plane ticket bookmark from the book and resume reading. Predictably, you don't make it very far before falling asleep. The next morning is uneventful, thankfully. You didn't rest particularly well, but you're feeling much more productive, if only because some sourceless anxiety is buzzing through your veins, more effective than any caffeine. You unpack your suitcase, reorganize your books once more, and feed the cat, who still hasn't made a reappearance from last night. For just a moment, there's a tug of worry, and then you realize he's probably still sound asleep upstairs. You sit down at your desk, your new pile of books stacked on the corner, along with a few of your notebooks and journals you use to keep track of ideas. Your current read from the tag sale is on the top of the pile. It was boring, but in flipping through the pages this morning, you thought you saw something interesting in the second half of the book. You immediately turned the pages away to avoid spoilers, but it had reignited your interest in the book. Just as you start brainstorming, your phone rings. You consider completely removing the battery from your phone for a brief moment, but you stop yourself. You sigh loudly, seeing the caller ID and answer. What? Oscar? It's a contracted editor you've worked with on your last job, and a pain in the ass. Oh wait, was it the job before? No, that doesn't make sense. The most recent job. Did Jack pay you? You blink, confused for a moment, then frown. Yeah, of course he did. Of course. Bastard's a piece of shit. Ending the project like he did, he would absolutely be the type not to. Oscar's typically gruff voice is dripping with venom, so he's definitely still mad. Oscar, get to the point. Did you actually look at your check yet? You haven't, actually. You put Oscar on hold and dig through your bag until you find the stiff white envelope with your last check in it. Opening it, you immediately spot the problem and groan loudly. You take Oscar off hold and shoulder the phone to your ear. He gave me your check instead of mine. Indeed he fucking did. I don't suppose it's too much to hope that you have mine. Apparently not, cause I do. You breathe a sigh of relief. At least it's just a straight exchange. The last thing you want to do is track down other members of the dismissed crew. Ironically, Oscar is probably the easiest to deal with, even if only in part he still doesn't know about your part in ending the project. Well, that's good at least. We're very different versions of good, Scribbles. Don't fucking call me that, spell check. Oscar makes a sound that could have been a quick laugh, but it was probably more a huff profanity. I'm gonna come get it. Your eyebrows shoot up. That you did not expect. I'm home, yeah, no shit. Be there in 15. What? Fucking hell. The line drops, and you're left staring at your phone, dumbfounded. Your eyes immediately drift to the journal with your notes from the job the script edit's Oscar was supposed to finish. But you did it instead faster than he could, ending the job early and snagging nearly a third of his pay. Oh no. It was enough to work on your own project for a while. You shove the journal into your bag and toss it into the corner of the room. It's much easier to push the guilt aside when the evidence isn't staring at you. Your gut clenches suddenly, like the fizzing in your blood spiking to panic. Oscar had opened the check and seen that it wasn't his name. But had he seen the amount written on the check, was the pay stub easily visible? You pace your room anxiously for the next 15 minutes. It had seemed far too soon, and now it feels definitely far too long. A loud banging noise echoes into your ears. It's Oscar, who sounds like he's on the verge of breaking and entering. You dash up the stairs to meet him, taking them two at a time. The exertion almost gives you an excuse for your quickening pulse. Opening the door, you're immediately reminded of exactly how huge Oscar is. Huge as in height or huge as in something else? While working on set, you are both usually at a vague distance. Only interacting when you'd fight about the script or who finished the coffee without refilling the pot fills your doorframe, perhaps even more so because his arms are crossed and he's glaring. Already, how'd you get here so fast? Oscar rolls his eyes, ignoring your question entirely and looking around the foyer with an arched brow instead. This is some house, huh? It's my parents', not mine. Didn't know you came from money, Scribbles. Don't call me that, and I don't. My parents just bought this place. Dad's a retired contractor. He's been saving up forever to buy this house. This one, specifically. You shrug. Yeah, specifically this one. He likes old houses, and there aren't many in town, so I just live in the apartment downstairs. For now, anyway. You gonna give me my check or what? I left it downstairs. Oscar lets out a deflated sigh. Just come downstairs with me. I made some coffee. The hospitality is a reflex, courtesy of your mother's strong belief that all hosts should be providing refreshments to their guests, and the presence of coffee demands its subsequent distribution. Oscar sighs loudly once more, but you see the corner of his mouth twitch at the reference to your old war ground. Fine. Not for long though. Obviously. Heading into your studio, you swing past the counter to turn off your coffee percolator before it can burn its contents. You pour out 2 mugs, the aroma quickly overwhelming the small space, and you push the fuller one towards Oscar. Black coffee, just how he likes it. The second mug is a pour of your favorite vanilla-flavored creamer until the liquid is more tan than brown. Oscar makes a noise of disgust, rolling his eyes but saying nothing. He gave up on getting you to drink coffee properly some time ago. He takes a deep sip, then sighs, sounding almost content. This isn't shit coffee, Scribbles. I'm impressed. Don't call me that, and thanks, I know. He scoffs and takes another deep sip. So how you doing post-Columbus fallout? You shrug, not wanting to talk much about Columbus. I'm still shocked. They screwed over so many people by ending early the way they did. I mean, I understand wanting to cut costs overall, but usually we're kept on months into filming. I'm sure a bunch of us were counting on that. I know I was. You look down at your coffee, swirling it slowly in your mug. Creamer that hasn't mixed in yet sits on the surface, creating clouds of near white. You try to identify shapes in them like clouds. You don't want to think about this right now. Probably not ever. When you look up, Oscar is looking at you with a serious expression. But when he speaks, it's to change the subject to your significant relief. So what's your next project then? You gonna scribble for some 20-something socialite who thinks they need an autobiography before 25? You snort. He sounds like Theo. God forbid those two ever meet. No, actually, I'm gonna take some time away from ghostwriting. I'm hoping to get my own project off the ground. Look at this smirk. Oh, really? Huh. You raise your eyebrows back at him, but to your surprise he smiles a few moments later. Glad to hear it. I think you do well with your own piece. Let me know if you need an editor. Lord knows I've got time. Your mouth hangs open. It takes a solid few moments to regain control of your jaw. Well, really? Thanks, Oscar. I'll take you up on that. Damn, Scribbles. I offer one favor and you drop the name calling just like that. Had I known you were so easy to please. There's something sinful in how he lets his voice trail off, how gravelly his tone becomes. Your face flushes in a way you don't like or understand, forcing you to look away for a few moments to gather yourself. What about you? What's next? You can feel him still smirking, still watching you. Right. Next for me. His tone draws your eyes back to his face. There's some brokerage happening in the next town over. Sale of land between the town and a major corporation moving in. I'm editing the contracts for the sale. It's thrilling work, I assure you. You're not sure what to say. Frowning and gripping your coffee cup tighter, your fingertips ache slightly with the pressure. Oh, don't look at me like that, Scribbles. Like what? I wasn't looking at you like anything. You absolutely were looking at me like something. It's not a big deal, really. It's a boring little job, but the pay's not bad at all. Worst part of the whole deal, well, besides the boredom, is the crappy motel I'm staying at. Is it the one off the main road coming into town? He nods and you wince. Crappy motel indeed. Yep, I see you're familiar. You chuckle a bit and shrug. You could say it has a reputation. For what? Actually, no. Don't tell me, I don't want to know. In fact, I have at least another week and a half here. I get the impression it's imperative for me not to know. You laugh, unable to contradict him, and he grins at you. Well, I should get going. Get out of your hair and all that. He tosses back the rest of his coffee like it's double the vodka, and you can't help but shudder at the sight. Your mouth unpleasantly fills with saliva at the thought of drinking so much black coffee so fast. You go and get his check, then hand it off to him. I'll walk you up. Thanks for the coffee, Scribbles. As you get to the top of the stairs, he looks around looking deep in thought. This house has very unsettling vibes. You stare at him taken aback. What are you talking about? You can't feel it. It's very disconcerting. Spooky even. Creepy. You know it'd probably be a great setting for your book. You like that kind of stuff. You're not sure how he knows this about you, but you're more focused on him calling your parents' home creepy. That's incredibly rude of you. He crows with laughter, shaking his head. Oh, my apologies to the house and its ornery occupant. It was not my intention to offend. You roll your eyes. Oscar offends so many so frequently that you have a hard time believing that. By the way, how did you know where I lived? His gaze becomes focused, piercing. He looks at you directly in the eyes with an intensity you're not sure you like. It's written on the check, Scribbles. He watches your reaction for a long moment before he taps the envelope with his new check against your forehead. He opens the door and is about to step out when he turns to you. Really though, this will be a great setting for your project. Feels like something is waiting here to devour you. Oh, you don't say. You stare at him wide-eyed. You feel found out somehow, and glare at him. Get out, spell check. He grins again, mimes tipping an invisible hat in your direction, and he's gone. You slam the door behind him. Bastard. Heading back downstairs, your annoyance ebbs away quickly, eroded by the intense desire to write. You don't even make it to your desk, snatching up a notebook from the couch and plopping down. Your pen scrawling over the page so quickly the words connect to each other. The ideas hardly have time to register in your mind before they flow to the page. When you look up, the sun has long set. Still, you don't quite register how long you've been contorted on the couch, scribbling away, until you stand up and every joint in your body protests. You stretch and groan loudly, which seems to alert Bartholomew that you have returned to the world of the living. You hear him start to meow loudly from the top of the stairs for his dinner. You head upstairs to placate the little beast. He waits at the top of the stairs, mouth open and little pink nose upturned as he cries, seemingly oblivious to your approach until the final moment. Ooh, that's weird. Oh fuck. Startled at your sudden closeness, he walks away from you and into the foyer and a loud crash immediately follows. Is that why the cat doesn't want to go downstairs? Because he can't see past and it's just a void? Bolting up the last few stairs, you round the corner to see what made the noise. Bartholomew is nowhere to be seen, but the contents of the whole table have been set scattering. Most of the table is set to rights easily enough, except the family portrait, taken after you got your first ghostwriting contract and were about to cross the country. It was an old picture, Camilla in her graduation cap and gown at Mum's instruction, you holding the contract with the same pose that Camilla cradled in her college degree. The frame had fallen, though the heavy frame itself had stayed intact. It was made of some kind of burnished metal, meant to look like solid silver, but felt much too heavy and much too hard to be real. The glass, however, had cracked. A jagged crack from the corner to the middle of the pane that then spiders out, loose pieces threatening to spill everywhere. Carefully you open the back of the frame and remove the picture so it isn't cut by the loose glass. As you do, you notice the corner of the picture has a dark red, almost brown smudge on the bottom corner. You frown, rubbing your finger over it. It looks like blood. But how is that possible? Did you cut yourself? You glance over your hands. You don't think so. I don't like how this is glitching. Rubbing at the picture again with your fingernail, you shift the photo back and forth. You can't see the blood mark anymore. Just a slight reflection of the whole light against the smooth finish of the picture. You put the picture down on the table and take the frame to the kitchen, barely keeping the pieces of glass in place. And you upend the glass pane from the frame into the garbage. Pleased with the ease of the cleanup, you put the metal frame back on the whole table next to the picture. It's void of its pane but still perfectly intact otherwise. You put Barty's food in his bowl and call him, even trying to tempt him by shaking his treat bag but he doesn't reappear. He was probably spooked when he knocked the frame over. You roll your eyes at his cowardice. You're briefly tempted to go check on him. He's probably just hiding in Camilla's room when your phone starts making a loud chirping noise from downstairs. You find your phone and shut off the alarm. Odd. You don't remember setting it. It's simply titled to Edits. Probably something to do with the project in Columbus. You run your tongue over your teeth, briefly wrestling with some unsettling feeling in your stomach before deleting the alarm completely. You turn your attention to your desk, trying to find the best way to sort out all your books. Somehow, you made a complete mess of them already. As you shuffle through, some scraps of paper fall out of one of the books, scattering across the floor. You stoop to pick them up, looking through them. These are notes from your last project. You frown. Something feels off. How did they get in that book? You don't remember putting them there. The content between that script and this book are completely different. You wouldn't have used a horror story for a reference for the Columbus script. It makes no sense. Trying to make sense of it, you start getting a headache, and you put the book and the notes on your desk. It doesn't really matter anyway, right? You rub your temples, tired, and decide to call it a night. You change into your pajamas, set up your laptop, and put on your favorite show to help you fall asleep. It takes a few hours of canned laughter, but you finally doze off. You sleep through the night, fitfully, never succumbing to rest. You jerk up, every sense on high alert, trying to figure out what's setting off your internal alarms. Your eyes snap open, your body lurching with panic before your mind can catch up to the why. Hello. You sigh loudly, relief flooding your system. Just a minute! You throw some jeans on under your pajama shirt, taking a deep breath as your system tries to come back down from the jolt of adrenaline. By the time you head upstairs, everything except for your heart seems to have gotten the memo and slowed to a reasonable pace. Hey! Look, it's him! Hey. Good morning. Your voice is still raspy from sleep, your words a groggy mumble. You look like you didn't sleep well. You blink a few times, letting your brain catch up. Did he just say you look tired? You frown slightly. He's not wrong, but it's still a pretty rude thing to say. Although the way he says it makes you feel like it wasn't intended as such. Yeah, well, I have been pretty jet-lagged lately. Probably just from traveling. You shrug. I've been a bit of a mess all around. Actually, I keep misplacing things, losing my train of thought. You force a chuckle and bite your tongue before you embarrass yourself further. What is it about this person that makes you want to overshare like this? It makes your cheeks warm. Well, I'm sure it doesn't help that I've rudely awoken you twice. Your next chuckle doesn't have to be forced, and you shrug, waving away his comment. I realized late last night that I still had the house key. And I don't have your number, so thought I'd swing by and drop it off. I shouldn't have let myself in though, I apologize. I knocked several times, but when I didn't get a response. It's okay, you're fine. I'm just jumpy lately. Probably from staying in this old-ass house by myself. Let me make it up to you. I'll make us breakfast. No, I couldn't. Please, it's the least I could do after catching you so entirely off guard. Twice. They look you up and down as they say this, distinctly seeming to eye your pajamas to make their point. You cave. You're not particularly hungry, but you appreciate the gesture and find yourself soothed at the idea of spending time with Aster. He heads into the kitchen and you follow to help him set up. To your surprise, he goes straight for the cabinet with the pans, maneuvering his way through the kitchen without any trouble. You stare for a moment, surprised. He catches your stare and smirks, seemingly pleased to have caught you by surprise. Don't worry about me. I've got this. Why don't you go finish waking up? Perhaps wash up? I don't want to completely disrupt your morning routine. You begin to argue, but you acquiesce when he cuts you off with a spatula wave. He's got a point. It would be nice to brush your teeth and put on clothes that are a little less pajama and a little more outfit. You go back downstairs and wash up quickly, brushing your teeth and splashing your face with water. After, you change into an outfit that looks like you're at least trying to be part of the world today. You rub your hands over your face in an attempt to make yourself appear a bit more alert and presentable. But you give up a few minutes later, in favor of heading back upstairs and rejoining Aster in the kitchen. You arrive upstairs to see Aster setting plates down on the counter. You take a seat at the counter and he places a steaming cup of coffee, already pale with creamer in front of you, before taking the seat beside you. The egg before you is laden with scrambled eggs, a few slices of bacon, some toast, and strawberries carefully cut into quarters. It's a beautiful meal and it smells delicious, but you just aren't hungry. Not wanting to reject his kindness or the gesture itself, you pick up the food anyway, making yourself take at least a few bites of everything. How's your writing coming? You shrug. Not much has happened with it yet, if I'm honest. I didn't have much of a plot, just ideas, I guess. Still, very much brainstorming, researching, stuff like that. I haven't even started to outline yet. Then what's that, if you don't mind me asking? He points to a small pile of papers neatly assembled at the edge of the counter. Even from here, you can recognize your own frantic scrawl inking across the page. You frown, reaching for the pages, and Aster slides them the rest of the way to you. Novel, corpse flowers. About a family, home brought cheap due to all the murders there. Family moves in, bizarre events, madness, murder them all. You chew your lip, frowning. You don't recall writing these, much less bringing them upstairs. It's undeniably your handwriting, but you're retracing your steps in your head when Aster's voice interrupts your thoughts. I like the idea quite a bit. It feels very follow the House of Usher. You're about to admonish him for reading over your notes, but before you can, your mind leaps to an idea incorporating some kind of eldritch horror to the story you've been trying to develop. It certainly pulls together several of the horror elements you've been reading over. There's a deep, resonant chuckle. Interesting. Why? What's going on? Aster, you are suspicious. You look up to Aster, then around you quickly, but only find them studying a strawberry closely before popping it in their mouth. Odd. You could have sworn you heard. You swipe a pen from nearby and start writing your ideas beneath the rough pseudo outline. You're so deeply focused on it you forget your food and nearly forget Aster entirely. You apologize a few times, promising it's just another moment or two while you get this idea down. But he only smiles and urges you on with the twist of his wrist. You can sense his eyes gliding across your page, although you're sure he can't make out the actual words from where he sits. The idea just keeps flowing. Before you know it, Aster's finished his food, is clearing the plates and cleaning down the kitchen, and you barely touch more than your coffee. You smile sheepishly when he takes your plate, but he seems rather unbothered. In fact, he seems rather amused by your frantic jogging. When he's entirely finished cleaning up, even clearing away your empty coffee mug, you finally put your pen down. Seems like you were quite inspired. You grin sheepishly and nod. I was. Sorry about that. Not at all. I've always found it fascinating to watch a creative like yourself at work. Thank you for allowing me to observe. Your face flushes and you look away from the force of his smile. He's so hot. I should go. Allow you to enjoy your day. But before I forget, places a key on the counter. Oh, yes, thank you. I'll walk you to the door. You walk them to the door, but Aster pauses in the foyer looking around. Shame I didn't see my feline friend. Odd too, he'd always come to greet me until now. What happened to the cat? He has. You wonder if you should be worried. Now that you think of it, you haven't seen him since last night. Barty! Bartholomew! You're about to call him again when Aster holds up a hand to stop you, his head tilted as if listening. Do you hear that? You stop to listen. After a brief moment, you do hear it. Baleful meowing coming from downstairs. Your eyebrows shoot up and you look at Aster in surprise. Is that coming from the studio? He hasn't gone in there once since I've been in here. You look around the apartment, frowning. There aren't many places to hide. You hear it again. Oh no. Wait, what happened to the cat? You and Aster follow the sound towards your bed and look underneath it. It's empty, save for a few books and papers that have escaped the piles. You gasp. Oh no. I think he's in the wall. You can't help the shrill note that enters your voice as panic shoots through you. How the hell? You hear Barty's cry escalate to a loud yowling. There's no doubt he's somehow inside the wall behind your bed. That's impossible. How did he do that? How is he in here? It's entirely closed off. I don't think that's our biggest concern right now. I think we should focus on getting him out. But how are we supposed to do that? Aster hesitates visibly, then nods as if coming to a decision himself. If you're okay with it, I can open the wall. You nod vigorously, not needing time to consider. I'll go see what tools I can find. You get to work pulling the bed from the wall. It's heavy, but adrenaline makes you stronger than you would be. Soon enough, you had the bed moved well into the center of the room by the time Aster returns. He's got a hammer in one hand and a screwdriver in another. He shrugs when he sees you looking at him. The best I could find on short notice, but I think it'll suit just fine. Of course, you're muttering and pacing, alternating between panicked guilt and cursing the cat under your breath. Now, I do need you to stay somewhat calm, Unny. It'll be much easier to damage your lovely new apartment if I'm not distracted by the absolute storm of energy you're giving off. Take a deep breath. It's entirely ineffective. Right, I'm calm, I'm fine. Yes, indeed. You seem so. Aster now turns his attention to the wall, tapping against the drywall with his knuckle. He ups for a spot several feet when you can hear Barty meowing and pawing at the inside of the wall. He wastes no time using the hammer and screwdriver to create a hole that's nearly 2 feet wide and a few inches tall. You flinch with each land of the hammer, a sound rattling around in your skull. Can you go faster? It wouldn't do to get reckless and risk scaring him enough that he tries to escape further into the wall, no? You don't have an argument for that, but it doesn't make you feel any less antsy. You're as much of a mess as the poor cat. Why don't you come here and talk to him? See if you can't keep both of you calm. You want me to talk to the cat? And say what? I leave that up to you. I doubt he has strong preferences on the matter. It's more the cadence of your voice that I'm thinking will help. He doesn't even like me anymore. I'm sure that isn't the case. Besides, you don't have to be his favorite to be more favorable than silence and the sounds of a hammer. Not having much of a response to that, you move to the wall, crouching down and putting your face close to the wall so that Barty can hear you better. You pick the first subject that comes to mind. Bartholomew, do you remember the first time we met? Camilla had just brought you home and you were so small you fit in a sweatshirt pocket. I never seen such a pathetic little thing, but you were so sweet. We fought over who got to name you. In part because I thought Bartholomew was a stupid name. Talking helps, you start to calm down. Your mind digging through the thick fog of time to pull up scraps of a memory you barely remembered you had. To your surprise, Barty also seems to calm down at the sound of your voice. The meows are becoming less frantic and the pawing sounds have ceased. Okay, I've just about finished. Step back for me, would you? You give him the space he asked for, but you're not sure how that's almost done. There's a hole in the wall about the length and width of your forearm, but how would Barty get through? Aster grips the wall with both hands and yanks it down with alarming speed and force, demolishing most of the wall in one fell swoop. That's kinda hot. You gape at him, taken aback. That was not what you expected. Aster simply dusts his hands off and looks at the wall. He looks proud of himself. When he sees your face, he chuckles softly and shrugs. Didn't want to risk getting too close to him with the hammer and accidentally clipping him, so I improvised. As if on cue, Bartholomew shoots from the now gaping hole in the wall. He looks filthy, covered in some kind of slime or muck. It looks like blood. Barty moves so quickly that you can't tell what's covering his fur. Before you can even get a chance to grab him, he's sprinted from the room entirely. You stare after him, dazed. There. Problem solved. Aster is dusting the white powder of the demolished drywall off his hands, surveying the scene with detached neutrality. When his gaze swings to you, it softens. Feel better now? You nod dumbly, sinking down onto the bed and staring at the hole in your wall. You can see the inside studs of the wall and the old wooden slats of the original build of the house, but not much else. Are you certain? I can stay if you need. Let him leave? Okay, so Aster is locked until we do the other 2 routes. So, I think we might do this one first. Maybe we'll do Theo and then Oscar? Yeah. You'll ask Theo to come and stay the night. You know them better. No, you don't want to impose on them anymore. He's already done so much just by freeing the cat. You decide to let them leave. I'll be okay. Thank you though, if you're certain. You assure them you are, thanking them profusely for his help before walking them to the door. Good luck then. Enjoy yourself. Right. Thanks. He leaves. And you're alone again. You already dislike it. Maybe Theo can stay the night instead. After all, they've always been there for you. It's one of the best things about them. If you call, they'll pick up without fail. If you need something, they'll have it at your door within the hour. They always have. Hell, even if you were in the middle of a fight, which historically you were the one to instigate, they would still show up for you if something was important enough. Theo was always one of the biggest constants in your life, one rivaling even your own family. It was nice catching up with them. You hadn't seen each other in a while. Now that you thought of it, how had they known you were in town? Between the jet lag, new house, and everything else, you hadn't had time to tell them yourself. Or maybe you had simply forgot. You shake your head. Clearly you're exhausted. You pick up the phone and send them a quick text. You up? Oh yeah, that text. A nearly immediate response. Yeah, why? Can you come over? The house is kinda creepy by myself. Theo seems to take up more time typing up this response. You see the bubble pop up and disappear multiple times. A couple more moments pass before you get a notification. Sure, be there in 30. You wonder what took them so long to reply, frowning a bit. You stare at the exchange for a couple of minutes trying to figure out the reason for their prolonged response. The house is creepy alone. There's an insinuation in your message that you hadn't realized when you first sent it. They didn't interpret it that way though, right? No way. This is Theo you're talking about. You've been friends practically forever. It's not like that. While you wait for them to arrive, you look for Bartholomew. He was absolutely filthy from that revolting slime. If you let that dry on his fur, it'll be a nightmare to wash off later. Bartholomew? No response as expected. You would have been surprised if the cat had shown up. You pace the house in search of him, but he's nowhere to be found. Maybe if you shake his treats. No, that didn't work either. It's like you're dead to him. A ghost haunting the house instead of a person living in it. Damn cat. Where could he be? You return downstairs and notice a utility room next to your room. Oh, maybe there? You enter this new room and discover it actually shares a wall with your bedroom. The same wall that Bartholomew had got trapped behind, in fact. Oh, I didn't know this was here. I'm scared. As you explore the cramped, unfinished space, you find several rolls of plastic sheeting. Why do we even have this? It makes a slightly warbled sound as you move it from its resting place. Must be for one of Camilla's art projects. No wait, that doesn't seem right. Since when does Camilla do art? You shake your head. You're overthinking. It's just plastic, for Christ's sake. Maybe you can use it for that gaping hole in your room. Just need something to secure it. You search the remainder of the room, but coming up short, you find yourself getting increasingly impatient. The house is already creepy enough, but this specific room. It's so goddamn dark in here. And musty. And it smells. What the fuck? Oh my fucking god. You sit still and quiet your breathing, listening closely to the sound. Oh, I can't do this. Oh my god, I can't do this. Not alone. Jesus fucking Christ. You realize it's coming from above you. Is that Bartholomew? Of course he shows up now. Scared. Bartholomew, you better... You jerk your head up, but as soon as you do, your words die on your lips. Why? The shadows on the ceiling are moving, engulfing the planks, writhing, staring back. Oh my god. Blood rushes to your face. What is that? But when you blink, they're gone. All that's left above you are the wooden planks of the ceiling. Stupid house. It's because this room is so dark. We have money for a new house, but not enough for a better light? You mutter to yourself and leave the room aggravated by your family's inability to replace one light bulb, but you can't ignore your heart racing in your chest. Shit! You jump at the sound of the doorbell, almost dropping the plastic gripped in your hand. You hadn't even realized you brought it with you. When you open the door, Theo's standing there wearing a sheepish grin, a fresh batch of cookies clutched in their hands. You scared me half to death. Huh? By ringing the doorbell. In my defense, it was really loud. I didn't even know it sounded like that. I don't remember you being this jumpy, Yinny. You huff at them, wrinkling your nose. You don't understand. I was in this disgusting room downstairs. Your bedroom? No, some utility closet right next to it. I didn't even know we had that until today. You really don't know much about your house. Shut up, I just got here. Anyway, that's where I found this bad boy. You raise the plastic sheet in your hand and shake it, creating a melody of that wobbling noise for good measure. And we're excited about the plastic because... I was gonna use it to cover up this hole in my wall. A hole? It's such a long story. As you roll your eyes, you wave them to follow you. Together, you walk downstairs to your room. Behold! You gesture dramatically to the hole, courtesy of Bartholomew the fucking worst, and Theo's jaw drops. I almost don't want to know what happened here. Let's just say there was an accident. Definitely don't want to know what happened. So you're gonna use that plastic to cover it up? I was going to, but I don't know what to use to hang it up. You got here before I could find anything. Just a second. Theo leaves you alone in your room for a second before returning shortly. When they arrive, there's a roll of duct tape in their hands. Yeah, we can use this. Oh, okay. How they got this so quickly? How'd they know where to find it? They're awfully comfortable moving around here. Even you haven't gotten familiar with the house yet. You just search through a couple of drawers. Theo grabs the plastic from your hands and makes their way to the hole. Oh, can you do 2 layers, by the way? I don't want to see into the hole, and just one sheet seems a little sheer. Yeah, I can do that. Didn't know architecture creeped you out, though. Yeah, sure. You act tough now, but don't think I forgot about that time when we were 10. Okay. I was just kidding. No need to relive that memory. You laugh and settle on the couch while Theo gets to work. Oh, by the way, try those cookies I brought. Just made them. Well, it's about time you offered. You know you never have to ask when it comes to me, Yinny. Actually, I'm pretty proud of them. It's my own recipe. Those cookies are what got me my current job at the restaurant. Really? Well, don't mind if I do. You can't help but feel excited now. Theo's pastries are always good. For them to be proud of this particular recipe. But when you bite into one, a cloying, almost sour taste envelops your mouth. Your chewing slows and you bite down the urge to gag. Theo, did you taste this batch yourself? Huh? Yeah, I did. Well, I more than tasted it. Helped myself to a couple on the way here. They shyly laughed, but you found it hard to reciprocate. Why did these cookies taste so weird? You put it down when you're not looking and make conversation to distract yourself from that lingering flavor unpleasantly coating your tongue. Eventually, Theo finishes up covering the wall and joins you on the couch, moving some of the books currently piled up on one of the cushions. As they do, they pick one up, examining its cover. The King in Yellow. This looks, dark. I didn't know you read these kind of books. Actually, it's one of my favorites. I picked it up in... Oh, where did you get it again? Well, where I got it isn't important. What's important is that it's been helping me brainstorm and plan for my book. Oh, I have some horror books myself. I can lend you some if you want it. You know I'll never turn down a new book to read. They smile, the corners of their eyes wrinkling endearingly. What's your newest project about? I haven't formally outlined it yet, but I'm thinking that it's something supernatural or otherworldly. It's definitely going to be sad. Maybe the supernatural forces made some kind of tragedy, causes it or is drawn to it. The question crawls up from the depths of your thoughts and tugs at you. Which is it? A familiar shade of grey and black interrupts your musing, and you glance to see none other than Bartholomew himself as he passes by your door. He's surprisingly clean. How did he get all that slime off? Good luck on your project. Knowing you, it'll turn out amazing. Huh? Yeah, thanks. You glance at Theo momentarily, forgetting they were in the room with you. When you look back up to where Bartholomew was, the cat has disappeared again. So how's your family been? Oh, Dad finally retired, and I think everyone's been busy getting settled into the new house. There's also that trip that they're on right now. You recap everything that Theo might have missed since the last time you saw each other. But as you do, it feels strangely detached. The emotions you would have expected to experience, excitement, relief, nervousness, are nowhere to be found. It's strange. You missed your family so much recently. That was why you had been so excited to move back home. After all, it had been so long since you've experienced your day-to-day with them. As you trail off, Theo responds with a gentle excitement. It's good. I know how much your family means to you. And at this new house, we're so close to each other now. Maybe we can see each other more. I've missed you. Theo's sitting closer to you now. Your hands could brush against one another with just a twitch of a finger. Somehow, during your conversation, they'd edge their way towards you little by little. Let them sit closer. After a moment, you clear your throat. Theo straightens, as if snapping out of a daze. They shift away from you and re-establish distance, like a pendulum swinging back to its resting point. Thanks for the help, Theo. I know it's late now, and you came here after work. If you want to stay over, you can sleep on the couch. It is late. If it's not too much of a bother, I'd appreciate it. It'll be like our sleepovers when we were younger. Except, now we're adults and our bodies don't let us stay up that late anymore. And we have to wake up early for all of our adult responsibilities. Speaking of, I'll probably be gone tomorrow when you wake up. Morning shift at the restaurant and all. That's fine. In that case, we should probably head to bed. Oh, already? Don't pout. You said it yourself, didn't you? Now that I'm here, we can hang out all we want. I'm holding you to that promise. Yeah, you're so needy. They chuckle as you stand from the couch. Within a couple of minutes, the lights are off and you're in your own bed. I don't like this. Why is there an ellipses? It's dark. You can't see anything. As you look back and forth, your eyes settle on something in front of you. You strain your eyes through the darkness to make it out. Oh, fuck. Moonlight gleams off a smooth surface. It looks like the plastic Theo taped over your bedroom wall. You lean closer, trying to discern the image before you. You're searching for something, but you're not sure what. Oh boy, it is shitting pants time, isn't it? As if pulled by some invisible force, you can't stop staring at the plastic sheet before you, at whatever lies beyond it. Goosebumps creep up your neck. You almost expect something to crawl out from the hole in front of you. You hate shadows, but you pray they continue to hide away whatever lies waiting in the black abyss. It's like an eternity passes. Your body refuses to move. Your eyes burn from watching the darkness. Eventually, the invisible force releases you, and you close your eyes. When you wake, you're wrapped in plastic. You try to inhale, and the plastic sheet bends inwards. Exhale, and it expands away. What the fuck? It refuses to give you the slightest inch, always following your breath slowly, ever so slowly, suffocating you. You try to breathe faster, try to break free, escape the shadowed movements of the plastic. It's not working. Your lungs burn, you need to breathe faster. 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 You jolt awake, your clothes cling to your body drenched in sweat. Your throat feels raw and your breaths are ragged, just as fast as those you felt in your dream. Dream? Was that all a dream? Morning light fills your room and you look around, and sure enough, as Theo had mourned, they'd already left. You hardly get a chance to miss their presence, however. In its wake, you're filled with something inexplicable. You hardly know how to describe the feeling, like inspiration but stronger, scarier. You're filled with a frenzied desire to write. It possesses you and claws at you. You sit at your desk and begin writing. This thing demands to be heard. Hours pass and your hand refuses to stop. Ideas and visions continue to pour out and fill your notebook. Page after page, you fill the canvas with words and scribble. Some of it might not even be legible, but you don't care. You can't write fast enough. Where is your journal? You swear you wrote this reference down somewhere. Your desk is a mess. It's pure chaos, simply sifting through all the books, journals, papers sprawled out around you. There are notes tucked away in your journal, pages folded so many times they're hardly legible through the deep creases. But still you continue to write. The spot hums to you in the back of your mind like a siren call. You pick up a book, The King in Yellow, and thumb through the pages. You're so glad you bought this. That's so weird because you didn't like that book in the beginning. There's writing in the margins, it's frantic and rushed. It's in the walls. In the walls? Your thought process is getting harder and harder to follow. What did you mean by this? You flip through the pages trying to follow your own train of thought. It knows I'm here. We can't trust them. I'm not crazy if it's real. You stare at the book. The handwriting doesn't look like yours, but it's familiar. I did it. I got them. Who wrote this? Your voice croaks out, almost unrecognizable. When's the last time you drank something? 8. Oh wait, this handwriting. It's unfamiliar. A buzzing pulls you from the depths of your writing hold. What is that? You finally remember your phone. When you check it, you see a message from Theo. Hey, you alive in there, or did the writing hole swallow you? You chuckle. They do know you well. You don't even get the chance to answer when the next text comes through. I'm anticipating you haven't eaten. How about I bring you some food? I made your favorite. You know it should be tempting, but it isn't. You can already feel your story pulling for your attention, begging you to listen to it. Yeah, I guess so. I'm good though, thanks. I anticipated that also. I know you. I know you haven't fed yourself, you absolute creature. Too bad for you, I'm already here. Open the door, you click your tongue torn between amusement and frustration. Per usual, Theo knows you too well. While you want to finish the story, you know there's no point. They're already here after all. When you open the door, you realize how long it's been since you've been outside. How long were you stuck in your writing hole? Whoa! I know it's only been a couple of days since we last saw each other, but you look like you've been in the hole for months. Wait, days? You've been writing for days. Everything is such a blur. All you remember is your pen flying over the paper. This better not be your first meal since I saw you. Obviously not. How would I be talking to you right now if that were the case? It was a joke. Jeez, I'm tempted to pull you out here so you can get some fresh air, but I think you'll scare off the neighbors. Haha, very funny. Luckily for you, you get to come hang out in my writing cave instead. As you both walk downstairs, Theo whistles when they enter your room. Yep, smells like a writing hole to me. They laugh and hand you your food. I say it out of love. Sure. Your home-cooked meal sits tantalizingly in a little container. It's still warm. Steam wafts up towards you. Ready to dig in, you sit on the couch and take a bite. It's sour. You furrow your brow. Again. It takes everything in you to swallow. Theo starts talking again, and you mentally thank them for giving you an excuse not to eat this. Well, looks like you got a lot of writing done. Yeah, I haven't been this inspired in a long time. You join them at your desk and pull out a couple of scattered papers. I mean, the plot is a bit of a mess right now. And papers slowly start to stack up into piles and piles of notes from the past couple of days. I can tell. But the story is about these really gruesome murders. Here, see? You point to the top of the pile. And they're connected to... Theo visibly frowns. Confused, you glance at the paper you're pointing at, the ones detailing how the murders occurred. But when you look, you see a list of instructions on how to get into the house. Huh? You lift up the top paper. This one must have gotten thrown into the mix in the chaos that was your desk. The next page is a reminder of tasks you need to do while your family is away. Hold on, it was right here. You shuffle through the papers, searching for the notes you actually wanted to show to Theo. Oh, I brought you that horror book I told you about. Let me go get it while you find your notes. They run off as you continue to search, but for some reason you can't find the pages you were looking for. Getting frustrated, you huff and take a break. Maybe now isn't the right time. After all, you've been staring at your desk for days now. Time passes, and Theo still isn't back. What's taking them so long? You go upstairs to search for them, and find the front door to the house wide open. Oh no! It's silent, except for the air blowing into the house. Theo? Your voice breaks through the silence, but you get no response. You peek your head outside, but you see nothing. Your skin crawls. You feel like you're being watched. Heart thudding in your chest, you slam the door. There's no sign of them out there. You walk through the house. They must be somewhere inside. Theo? 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 Something is standing behind you. Also, wood. I mean, their teeth are kind of yellowish, but this is kind of odd. Is this Aster? A shadowed something is standing behind you. A shadowed haze. Whatever it is, you're sure it's not human. You scream, and it rushes towards you, its movements too inhumanly stilted to call running. Panicked and trapped, you grab the nearest object, a heavy picture frame, and slam its edge into the creature's head. Oh no! Glass shatters everywhere, cutting your hands, splattering blood across your face. Adrenaline renders you unable to register anything beyond the cold, sticky feeling of your own blood. You reach back to strike again, another scream of terror ripping from your throat. Oh no! I feel terrible. Theo is on the ground, their glasses cracked, splayed across the rug. Blood flows heavily from a cut above their eye. They stare up at you, terrified, their hands raised to defend themselves. Theo! You fall back, dropping the picture frame and sliding to your hands and knees. The rug is squishy and damp with their blood. Your blood. Oh my god, Theo! I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You sob and Theo sits up slowly. They hold one hand clamped over the cut on their head. It's clear they're in pain. Their other hand shakes as they reach out to you, slowly pulling you to their chest. It's okay. I'm okay. I feel like the worst person ever. You can hardly hear them. All you can register is the blood. Oh, great. Oh, lovely. There's blood. Blood. So much blood. We can clean it up. You didn't even realize you had said that out loud. Head wounds bleed a lot. I'm okay. It's just a gusher. I'm okay. You hide in their sweatshirt. Gripping so hard, pain shoots through your fingernails. They're trembling. In a daze, you yank yourself away. You need to go to the kitchen, clean this up. Theo needs ice to stop the bleeding. Your socked feet leave bloody footprints across the linoleum, and you're clumsy from your tears. When you return, Theo's standing there, leaning against the doorframe. They're holding the picture frame you hit them with. The picture. It got ruined. It's closer now. You see it's a picture of your family. Their smiling faces now marred by your blood. Blood drips onto the picture, and you return your focus to Theo, blood leaking through their fingers, trailing down their face. That's hardly important right now. You give them ice wrapped in one towel, and they press it against their injury. The cut stretches from the middle of their forehead to their temple, narrowly missing their eye. You bite back a whimper, your hands shaking as you use the other towel to clean the blood from their face. As you wipe, the blood smears across their skin, staining it with a ruby red. They're watching you, wide-eyed, looking terrified of you. They're watching you, wide-eyed, looking terrified for you. You can't take it anymore, and you return to their embrace, practically clinging onto them. Apology after apology falls from your lips. What happened? Their voice is so damn gentle. You tell them what you saw. Their face grows very serious. They seem to believe you, but their concern is painfully obvious. You're overrun with guilt. What did you do to deserve them? You hurt them, and yet they're still worried about you. You pull away and their eyes sweep over your face. With their thumb, they wipe a droplet of their blood off of your face. Oh. Did you get hurt? No, I don't deserve this. That's when you notice a sting on your hands and knees. You examine your hands, feeling very distant from your own pain. Sure enough, there are light cuts scattering across your palms. You simply stare at them, as if you can't register that you're injured. Come on, let's get you cleaned up. Their voice is gentle, and they take your wrist, careful not to touch your injury. Don't step on the glass. Careful, Yinny. As if you're a child, Theo guides you slowly through the minefield of glass. In the bathroom, you finally take notice of your own reflection. Your face is splattered with blood, yours and Theo's. The crimson red looks unnatural under the fluorescent light. Here, Theo offers you a washcloth, one that was once white, but it is now stained from an unfortunate washing machine error that dyed most of your whites pink. Wait, what the heck? Oh wait, hang on, do you guys see that? It is now stained pink from blood, and then it switches to an unfortunate washing machine error that dyed most of your whites pink. Ooh. You take turns cleaning each other up. As you examine Theo's cut, you notice the bleeding has for the most part stopped and you sigh in relief. At least the ice helped. So much blood had come from the one cut. I think it looked worse than it was. Not too deep. Just a gusher, remember? Theo smiles weakly at you, but you can't return it. They clean you with all the care in the world as they attentively tend to you. First the blood on your face, then your hands. You didn't get any glass stuck anywhere, did you? No, they're so caring. Their voice is so quiet. You're not sure if they're talking to you or to themselves. They bring your leg up, meticulously examining your knees for glass shards. You're cut up, but it doesn't look like there's any glass. At least. You hear them, but it's like you're in a haze. All you can do is watch as they peel your blood-soaked socks off and then your splattered shorts. Maybe under different circumstances you'd feel embarrassed, but right now, let's wash off now. Theo leads you to the edge of the tub and gently sits you down and they run the water. There's a high-pitched scream from the pipes as hot water starts to flow through them. Steam floats up from the tub. Theo's hand rubs up and down your leg as they clean the rest of your body. The bathwater is slowly dyed in red. You choke down the rising bile in your throat. How can there still be so much blood? Eventually, you both somehow get clean. Your wrecked shorts and socks now replaced with a fresh pair of sweats and socks. You both sit on the couch unsure how to break the silence. Theo takes your hand in theirs and rubs circles across your knuckles. Their hand is warm against yours. The feeling grounds you and your gaze falls to their hands. Light scars are painted across them, reminders of all the baking and cooking hazards they've experienced. Sky blue nail polish colors their nails, now chipped away and stained with the slightest hint of red. Guilt pulls at your chest at the horrific reminder of what happened tonight. Are you okay? If something's going on, you can tell me. I'm worried, you don't seem like yourself. You're attacking you with picture frames. It was an attempt at a joke, but your voice sounded so tired. Regardless, Theo smiles good-naturedly. It's not their usual bright, warm grin, but it's an attempt. Well, I wasn't gonna be so blunt, but yeah. I know we used to play fight when we were little, but it's been a while. Plus, I never had to take you on arm before. Their own attempt at a weak joke, you give them the same half-hearted smile they gave you. You sigh and rub your temples trying to clear your head. I'm not really sure what happened or what's happening. Something just feels wrong. Theo's brows are furrowed with sadness, worry, and something else. For some reason, you hate it. You want to tell them not to look at you like that, but the guilt keeps you from saying so. Still, the expression bothers you, makes you restless. You want to get up, away from their pity and worry, away from this hole in the wall, away from the blood that now stains your entire foyer. I'm gonna go pick up the glass. We've had a long night. Just leave it for now. I don't want to. Besides, what if the cat cuts itself? Enough innocence of blood for me today. What the fuck? What cat? Oh no. What? What kind of question is that? Aren't they supposed to be your childhood friend? The cat. Camilla's cat. I'm watching him while she's gone. You never seen him look so solemn. Yinny, Camilla doesn't have a cat. Fuck. Her cat was hit by a car years ago, remember? It's been gone for years. No, that's impossible. There was a cat in the wall. That's why there's a gaping hole in my room. I had to get him out. I saw him. Other people saw him. I haven't seen him. There is no cat, Yinny. The gentleness that always followed their voice is gone now. Your blood drains from your face. That couldn't be right. Bartholomew was a low, heartless voice chuckles in the distance. You whirl around towards the source, your heart pounding against your ribcage. Bartholomew! There's a ringing in your ears. You wait and you feel like you suffocate in your panic. But that damn cat doesn't come. It never comes. Your stomach twists in knots. Yinny, why don't we go outside tomorrow? You've been holed up here for days writing that scary horror book. A chuckle rises from the shadows again. The hair on the back of your neck stands up. Why isn't Theo creeped out by that? Plus, this house? This time you both startle as the plastic on the wall rattles. You turn to see the plastic sheet warping. Ballooning out from the hole in the wall, the smell of rot fills the room. It's overpowering and you both gag. This house! Theo grabs your hand. Before you can say anything, they're dragging you up the stairs and towards the front door and they lunge for it. Oh fucking hell. Do you really think this is the best choice? Trusting them. The detached voice is so close, practically whispering to you from your shoulder. It laughs and the sound is like metal rending. You don't know what to do. On the other side of the door, shadows press their spindly hands against the glass. You yank Theo back. Don't open it! We need to get out of here! That's when you realize they can't see the shadows. Alright, let's refuse to budge. They pull, but you resist. There's a pang in your chest when you see the hurt in their eyes. Theo's hands are on your cheeks. They pull you close until your face is a mere inches away. Trust me. They're begging at this point. It's clear from the fear in their eyes and there's something else. Desire. Hunger. Theo searches your face, lingering for a moment longer on your lips before returning to your eyes. Yinny, please, trust me. You dip your chin, barely an affirmative. They waste no time and tug you forward. Just as you crush the threshold, you hear that chuckle again. Then a deep sigh, one heavy with disappointment. Something like regret twitches in your chest, there and gone between heartbeats. You and Theo stand on the porch. Bright, searing hot sunlight pierces your vision. Wasn't it night? Aww. cute. The sun is high in the sky and the summer sky is clear. As you and Theo cross the porch together, you pause at the bottom steps. The morning light chases away the darkness that had been clouding your mind. We made it. You can't believe it and smile. For it feels like the first time in forever. As if to make sure this wasn't a bad dream, you look towards Theo. The gash on their face is bleeding again. Your expression falters and they're pulling you towards them once more into the safety of their embrace. Are you alright? Did it work? Do we need to get further? We can... You wrap your arms around their neck and pull them closer, your eyes locked onto theirs. Equal parts of gratitude and guilt swirl inside you, each overwhelming in their own right. As you hold one another, you watch surprise, anxiety, and hope flash in Theo's eyes. They brush their thumb over your cheekbone, trembling as they do so. No, you're right. I'm glad I trusted you. You lean towards them. This close, you can feel their lips part against yours, the rise of their chest as their breath hitches. Your lips meet in the kiss filled with relief, a heartbreaking kind of joy and the lingering taste of adrenaline. Their hand rubs soothing strokes up and down your spine. They move their lips so softly, so gently against yours, and their breath comes out in soft gasps. You dig your fingers into their shoulders, run them over the back of their neck, and press your hand against their chest. They're truly there, truly safe, and truly kissing you. They break the kiss first, resting their forehead against yours. Their broken glasses sit slightly askew on their nose, and you stare into their eyes, beautiful and boundlessly blue. You smile broadly, trying to push the thoughts of the voice in the house out of your mind. Theo, thank you. I feel much better. Their arms tighten around you. They're smiling more brightly than you've ever seen them, brighter than the sunshine warming your skin. It's real. Yes, it's definitely real. Oh, fuck. It's definitely not real. Anyway, that was Theo's story. Let's move on to Oscar's, and then we'll do Aster's, because Aster's one is locked until we finish the first two. Please input your preferred name. Okay, if you put your name in slightly differently, let's put Scorpion this time, see what happens. Oh, going with something different this time, That's fine. We both know who you truly are, Yinny. Oh shit, it doesn't matter what I put in there. That's so cool. Oh my god, and if I put my name, look, it says, nice to see you again, Yinny. Oh fuck, that's so cool. Aster, you creepy bastard, I know it's you. Let him leave. You'll ask Oscar to come if you need help. He's right in town after all. Aster nods, smiling. Alright. Wait, if it's not too much to ask, can you get the cat for me? He definitely needs a bath, but you trail off. Why is he making that expression right now? It's hot, but why? You trail off, and Aster barks at a laugh that sounds like snapping twigs. Certainly. Wait here. You do as he says. You can hear his footsteps upstairs, as well as the resonance of his voice, although you can't make out quite what he says to convince the cat to come back out. Soon he returns, Bartholomew cradled against his shoulder. Here you are. Thank you so much. You accept the cat. Although you can immediately feel him tense, he sinks his claw into your shoulder, stopping just short of breaking skin. Now that our little crisis has been diverted, I'll take my leave. His smile is sharp-edged but not unkind. How on earth will you manage without me? You chuckle, your voice more nervous than you'd like. I don't know, honestly, but I guess we'll find out. Indeed. I'll lock the door on my way out. Good luck with him. You nod and smile. Yeah, thanks. Aster's gaze returns to you. Something in his expression makes you think you misunderstood him, but he heads back up the stairs before you can finish your thought. Take care not to drown. Yeah, not ominous at all. You sigh, looking down at the increasingly ornery cat. It's just you and me now, Barty. Take it easy on me, would you? Barty does not, in fact, take it easy on you. The muck was far less than you anticipated. It looked far worse at a distance, and was cleaned well enough with a wet washcloth. Bartholomew, however, did not appreciate this at all. Cleaning him up felt like a full-on wrestling match, during which he managed to land a bite on your cheek. You decide he's clean enough. You're absolutely exhausted, leaving the wreckage of your bathroom to be the problem of a future, more energized version of yourself. You change out your drenched clothes. How you ended up so damp without even giving him a proper bath is a mystery. You're about to throw yourself onto the bed when you see the absolute mess of your wall. The groan that escapes you is guttural and entirely involuntary. You do not have the energy for this right now. You're standing before the mess, your body unable to comply with any commands to move or clean, when your phone buzzes loudly. It's a text. Call me. Regarding Columbus Project and Jackass. You snort in amusement before typing back. Can't right now. Dealing with emergency. Wall broken. His response is near immediate. What the fuck? The typing symbol appears for a bit, then disappears. You wait a minute, but when no response comes, you toss your phone on the bed and turn your attention back to the task at hand. You grab a broom and a dustpan and get to work. Not even 15 minutes later, you're covered in a thin layer of plaster dust. Most of the debris is clear, though some of it is clinging to the damp parts of your skin, and you can feel it caking your eyelashes and forming a paste on your neck. Ew! What the fuck? You're about to start figuring out what the hell you're supposed to do about a gaping hole in your wall when two loud knocks against the front door interrupt your thoughts. You frown, looking down at yourself and they're in the direction of the stairs. You can't even begin to guess who would be showing up right now. The knock comes again, this time louder. You head upstairs, dusting your hands off your jeans in an entirely futile gesture. You glance at the stained glass window, then do a double take. What the? You open the door. Oscar stands before you, a foul expression on his face holding a large red metal box. You stare at him, bewildered. Is that a toolbox? Do you seriously need an answer to that? You don't, but you also have no idea what's happening right now, so... I'm here to fix the goddamn wall. You gonna let me in? At an utter loss for words, you step aside to let him by. You head downstairs with Oscar close behind, your mind feeling like you're walking into your own personal episode of The Twilight Zone. Once in the apartment, it takes Oscar no time at all to identify the issue. What the fuck happened to your wall? It looked like a creature ripped into it. Jesus. You try to laugh dryly, but your voice sounds a little hysterical even to you. Yeah, well, my life is just falling apart. It's just one disaster after the next. The wall, well, you can see the wall. It's actually looking better now. Better than, believe it or not, there was plaster and shit everywhere. And I haven't been sleeping well at all, like crazy nightmares and insomnia. And then when I do sleep, it's like, why bother? I don't feel better when I wake up anyway, and honestly, I thought not having a project would feel great, but the pressure is so much worse now than it ever was on a job. Then I had this whole emergency with the cat, and I just had to bathe him. It's all just very bad. I'm not sure I'm seeing how that last one is a disaster, but anyways. Oscar walks over to the wall, tilting his head one way and then the other before putting his toolbox down. You stand beside him, not sure what to do with yourself, just relieved that you don't actually have to deal with this wall situation anymore. I can't fix this. Your response is reflexive. Seriously, embarrassing for you. It's fucking annihilated. It's not like I have a spare sheetrock in my rental car. Then what'd you bring that toolkit for? Or is it like a comfort thing, or like a muse, or like a merce? Toolbox. And there's a difference between broken and a 3-foot wide hole. You're a writer. How you so shit at words? How you so shit at fixing stuff? I'm not a goddamn contractor, I'm an editor. I do not do manual labor. You narrow your eyes at him before gesturing to his obnoxiously perfect. Oh, you narrow your eyes at him before gesturing to his obnoxiously enormous. Wait, what? Is enormous what? Oh. You narrow your eyes at them before gesturing to his obnoxiously ridiculous biceps. They are pretty big. They're decorative. You snort at him, but a smile curves your lips. Bickering with Oscar is oddly soothing, normal. Go away, I don't need you hawking over me with your unhelpful bullshit narrations. You sulk, wrinkling your nose at him. But Oscar turns to look at you up and down, then traces his index finger across your collarbone. He leaves a trail of heat across your skin and you flush immediately. Well, you have no idea what your face is saying, because you have no control over it at that moment. He holds up his finger to you, arching an eyebrow. You're literally filthy. Go clean up, I'll be done by the time you're out. Your brain is too busy short-circuiting at his touch to retort, so you retreat into the bathroom. You manage to wipe off most of the dust and change into some clean sweats and a t-shirt. Once you're done, you go back out to rejoin Oscar. Your eyes immediately go to where the hole was. It's been covered, but it appears Oscar took the top sheet off your bed and stapled it over the hole, then shoved your bed back up against it. You look for Oscar to tease him because, well, it's quite obvious why. Something you're quite eager to point out, but he's no longer in the studio. You head out into the hall and find Oscar by the stairs leading up to the foyer, looking at the hanging pictures on the wall. What the hell did you do to my sheet? I fixed the wall. I would hardly call that it's stapled. It's stapled very well, I assure you. You scoff loudly and roll your eyes. Oh, bless you. You scoff loudly and roll your eyes. Oscar motions towards the wall of photos. Dozens of school photos of you and your sister over the years are scattered among some of the birthday holidays and occasional parents' anniversaries. Your family is nauseatingly picturesque. You frown at him, but he continues. Tell me, are you meant to write anything interesting when your life has been all fluff and cavity-inducing sweetness? You glare at him and are about to snap a retort, but he moves on as if what he said wasn't offensive. You and your sister look a lot alike. You twins? You pause, still angry, but answer him. You can't help yourself when it comes to Camilla. No. I'm older. We get that a lot though. You stare at a picture of Camilla covered in coloured powders and grinning after completing one of those colour runs. We're only 10 months apart, but it feels more like years most of the time. People love her. I may be the artist, but she's the rebellious, free-spirited one. Not me. Yeah, well that's obvious. You're wildly uptight. I am not uptight. Wildly cutthroat then. Oh. You freeze, looking at him. He arches an eyebrow. Honestly, part of me thinks Jack gave me your check on purpose. He's a dick, but he's also a coward. Never could stand anyone being mad at him. You're unsure of what to say. You can hear your own heartbeat in your ears and your face gets hot. What now? I thought it was greed at first, but I don't think that's quite it. Hello? Scribbles! A hand waves back and forth in front of your eyes and you're brought back. Damn, spacing out mid-conversation now. That's a lot, even for you. You scoff and wave it off, not trusting your voice to be steady just yet. Oscar narrows his eyes at you before returning and walking back into the studio. You follow him, immediately confused. He heads to the linen closet, pulls down a blanket, then tosses himself down on the couch. What are you doing? Do you have any idea what time it is? I'm tired. I'm not driving back to the motel after you dragged me here at fuck all in the morning. He rolls over so his back is to you. Bartholomew makes his first voluntary studio appearance and hops up on top of Oscar, spinning around on his hip until he curls up to sleep. He's just staying. It's kind of a relief to have him here. Being alone in such a big house is eerie. Even if you're pretty sure he'd use you as a human shield in a heartbeat, fighting him is distracting you from whatever this feeling is. You're too tired to fight. You turn off the light and go lay down, hoping sleep will take you quickly. It takes Oscar quickly, but it seems to leave you behind. He snores loudly. You roll over and find yourself face to sheet with Oscar's repair job. To his credit, it really is well stapled. He's probably also used every staple you had to do it. As you lay there, you start to notice sounds between the snores. They're softer, breathier, and they're coming from behind the sheet. Hell no! Absolutely not! You stare at it intensely, trying to convince yourself you're not hearing what you think you're hearing. They grow in sound and intensity, crescendoing to a deep wailing, but you look over at Oscar and Barty and they're both sound asleep. The sheet starts moving slightly, as if it's fluttering, a sail in the wind. Suddenly, the shape of a face lunges through the sheet, barely restrained by the stapled cloth. The mouth is open and gaping at you, the undeniable source of the wails. Oh, in hell, jaw. The sheet presses tightly into the open jaw as if it was inhaling, sucking the cloth into its mouth as it presses. You can't even scream. The strangled sound you make is nothing close to what would be needed to wake anyone, and you can't move. As quickly as it happened is over, the face doesn't withdraw, it simply disappears, the sheet appearing untouched and unmussed as if nothing was there in the first place. Maybe it was never there. You let out a shuddering breath, you want to run, but you can't take your eyes off the sheet. You don't dare. You scoot back off the bed in your chair, alert for any sign of movement behind the white cloth. You don't sleep. You look like shit. Did you sleep in that chair? You don't know when he woke, or when the sun rose. You haven't been able to pull your gaze from the hole. You look like a goddamn gargoyle right now. You don't respond. You can't. Distantly, you wonder if the gasping, wailing creature stole your voice for its cries. You're vaguely aware that he leaves the room, the creaking of stairs signaling his departure. You can witness the thought pass by you as if it belongs to someone else, a theoretical version of yourself calling him rude for leaving you without a word. But right now, Oscar places a mug of coffee in your hands. His touch is surprisingly gentle, his large hands dwarfing yours as he wraps your fingers around the mug. Drink. You're tempted. So tempted to look away. It's easier to believe you'd be safe when he speaks to you like that. Yinny. What's going on? That tone again. You drag your eyes from the hole, it hurts. Respond to Oscar. Ask him if he believes in the supernatural, the otherworldly, hauntings, or unexplainable things. He watches you, his eyes narrow. You can see him, weighing whether to take you seriously or not. And just when you're sure the scales are swayed out of your favor, he answers. I found little reason in my life to convince me one way or the other. Why? You hesitate, then press your lips together tightly. No, it's too bizarre. You can't. Listen, Yinny. I've been traveling for a long time and I've been to a lot of places, so I've heard a lot of stories and seen some things. I don't think anything is ever truly off the table. Now, I've been honest with you. Be honest with me. Why are you asking me these things? It's a long story. It started when you fill Oscar in on all your odd experiences since arriving at the house. I think there may be something wrong with the house. You expect a long pause. You're prepared for it. You're not prepared for his next question. Okay, so what's your plan? You blink at him, thoroughly thrown. You believe me? Well, I don't not believe you, but we may as well try and figure out if something's going on. We have all these books at our disposal. Let's use them. Oscar divvies up the pile of books between you two. Your pile is mostly comprised of your old journals, notes, and other assorted sources from the past few weeks. His are mostly the books you've been using for research, including your current unfinished read. You start reading, struggling to be absorbed in the material and instead sneak some glances at Oscar. Bartholomew has curled up in his lap and is sleeping while Oscar reads. It's a strange sight at first, but the more you look at it, the more it makes sense to you. It doesn't take you very long to realize that Oscar reads very quickly. Before you finish looking through your journal, he's already finished one of the small plays and is partly through your current read. Scribbles, this is the most boring fucking book I've ever read. The 400-page explanation on local tax laws I read yesterday was more exciting than this. Why are you reading this? He flips through the pages, seeming to skim the contents as he goes and looking deeply unimpressed. I can't really justify it. That's just been my experience so far too. I just try not to abandon books part way, but it's very boring. Oscar tosses the book unceremoniously into the community pile of books between you. A piece of paper falls out from between the pages of the book, folded into a small square. You both stare at the paper for a moment, shocked. Oscar recovers first and picks up the paper, unfolding the many creases with impatient hands. It's your handwriting, and the pages look like they belong to your journal, but you have no memory associated with these entries at all. The page details strange noises coming from behind the wall of your room, and struggling to sleep. Perhaps most confusing, however, is the date on the page. The entry is from 2 weeks ago. I dislike this room. I feel bad because Dad was so excited to show it to me, but something about it makes me feel like I'm in an aquarium or something, on display. I dislike the room. I feel bad because Dad was so excited to show me, but I can't bring myself to like it. It's not my room, it's a guest room. You turn another page and find an entry from more than a week ago. It's a bit more recent, but still disorienting to say the least. I know this sounds crazy, I do, but I think there's someone trapped in the walls or something. It seems too wild to be possibly true, but why else would I be hearing the sound of scratching when I lay down at night coming from inside the wall? As if I needed another reason to dislike this house. There's definitely mice in the walls, I can hear them scurrying around. Oscar leans over the coffee table and grabs one of the small piles of paper he's assembled to varying sizes and widths and passes it to me. Do you think that has anything to do with this? You stare at the pile, but not a single spark of recognition lights. Where did you get these? Entirely unfazed by your question, he shrugs. Your bed. They're under a messy pile under the pillow. Have you seen them before? You stare at them, frowning. The unnerving feeling of not being able to place the papers more bothersome than you would have anticipated. Did you read them? I didn't go through them, but I couldn't help reading this one. It was just right on top, so... He trails off, gesturing the pages towards you and offering. You accept them and begin to leaf through them, trying to remember anything about them. There was writing on the top page, but it's not yours, it's Camilla's. The message is very simple. Don't trust Yinny. What the fuck? The rest of the page is covered with handwriting that's yours, but that you can't place in time or space. You can't even read the writing, it's scrawling nonsense, words on top of words on top of words. The only words legible on the page are on the very bottom, one sentence printed clearly and concisely in your handwriting. They know, I know. You're watching, paying attention when it happens. You're looking at a page when it goes entirely blank. The only thing remaining on the page is a small doodle of your front door and the stained glass windows beside it. Your gaze immediately goes to Oscar to point it out, but his expression is unchanged, his eyes roaming the blank sheet as if there's still something in it for him. Ask him if he saw the pages change. Write it down, what you saw. You grab a pen and a piece of blank paper, and begin to quickly try and imitate the writing you saw. You can't remember all of it, so you make sure to get the most important pieces. You can't remember anymore. In a moment, the memories are gone. You look up at Oscar, eyes wide, and his eyes meet yours. You don't bother to explain what just happened. He seems to have figured it out based on the way his frown deepens. The minutes pass too slowly, and the hours pass too quickly. You know it's been at least 3 hours, but beyond that, it's anyone's guess, and you're still not comfortable trying to sleep. Something deep inside you is whispering very convincingly that if you fall asleep, the thing behind the wall will find you. We need a break. His interruption is so sudden that you don't know how to respond at first, simply blinking up at him. You narrow your eyes at him, disliking the idea. I know that look, that half-crazed, half-asleep expression you look like you do when you fall into a riding hole. I don't want to lose momentum. Now, Scribbles, you and I both know that the riding hole is not where you do your best work. You need a break. You're going crazy locked up in this house. There's a low chuckle. Right. Oscar, I'm serious. I don't want to stop right now. Well, I'm more than serious, and what's more, I'm hungry. So you must be too. I didn't even know when you last ate. Over your dead body, will you admit that you didn't know either? Smart money's on you not eating anything all day. Let's go get something to eat outside. Fresh air will be good for you. A nice change from being trapped in this creepy-ass basement all day and night. He's absolutely relentless, so you cave. You decide to go out and pick up some food. There's a decent Thai place in the next town over. You let him take the lead. The hall feels strangely long as you head upstairs. When you get upstairs, you find yourself hesitating. Oscar doesn't notice and heads straight through the door, swinging it open. When you don't follow, he turns back to look at you. Yinny, you good? Ah, fuck. You can't answer. You're looking past him, where the door has transformed into a giant gaping portal, a throat looking to swallow you both whole. Dark black ichor drips from the doorframe like saliva that pools on the floor. Distantly, you hear screaming, loud and rasping and straining. It's only when you take a deep breath that you realize that screaming is coming from you. Oscar is across the room and to you in moments. He grabs you by the shoulders and you dimly register the terror on his face. You've never seen him look so afraid. His grip on your shoulders is firm, and he tries to say something, but you can't hear him over your own voice, the tearing screams in your ear. He starts to pull you towards the door, and you begin to thrash with all your strength, trying to get away. You'll die. You'll die. What's worse than death? Many, many things are worse than death, and all of them await you within this darkness. You begin to rip at your own flesh, grabbing your head, scratching at your own eyes, clawing at your throat. Oscar grabs your arms to try and stop you, and instead your fingers find purchase in his forearms. Your nails sink into the flesh on his arms and rip. The sensation is somehow satisfying, as is the welling of blood from his skin, but still, he doesn't release you. Oscar pushes you back further into the house, pressing you to his chest tightly, squeezing your whole body with a warm, consistent pressure. The screaming in your mind is the first to stop, allowing you to finally truly hear yourself and control your own voice. Your throat feels shredded and your screams finally cease. Your mouth is painfully dry and each breath feels more like hot smoke than oxygen. Finally, you come to your senses and truly calm down. Oscar releases you slowly, trading holding your arms while cupping your face gingerly in both his hands. His face is still pulled taut into a mask of absolute terror. Yinny. He's calling you, but your focus is locked on the deep bloody gouges you raked into his arms, through his shirt. How the hell did you do that? You realize Oscar is talking, not just saying your name. It takes a concerted effort to focus on his words. Your mind feels fogged with the dark mist separating you from the surrounding world. What the fuck happened? What was that? Are you okay? Apologize for scratching him. Oscar shakes his head at you, his gaze softening. It's not important. But a sob rises up and you choke it back down. Still, your next words sound pinched. I'm so sorry. Your arms. He sighs deeply and hugs you to him. It's different from when he was holding you so you wouldn't hurt yourself. There's a tenderness in the way he cradles you that makes the tears threaten once more. I can barely feel it, scribbles. Don't worry about it, it's not important right now. He squeezes you a little tighter, emphasizing his words. I'm not hurt. You didn't hurt me. You saw something, didn't you? You don't pull away, pressing your face into the firm warmth of his chest as you nod. When you look back up, his face is grim, determined. We have to get out of this fucking house. And yes, we'll bring the cat fucking Helloyinny. How are we supposed to get out of here? He doesn't answer you. He doesn't release you. He slides his hand from your cheeks to the side of your neck, his thumbs grazing over your bottom lip as he does, sending a shock of electricity straight through your stomach. His hands rest on the sides of your neck, his thumb resting over your pulse just for a few moments. Then his hands are moving again, brushing over your shoulders and back down your arms, where you can feel the ghost of the grip he used to try and prevent you from hurting yourself. His hands travel down to your hands and he holds both tightly, one in each hand. Look at me. You do. Your vision locking in on the deep brown of his eyes and his gaze burns. Then, as if they burned him, he drops your hands from his. Let's go. He leads you back down the stairs and he's moving quickly, taking the stairs two at a time, and you have to hurry to keep up with him. Oscar goes straight to your books again, picking up the play you've been reading and skips ahead to Act 2 where your bookmark is holding your place. Weren't you on Act 1? Oscar opens the book past your bookmark, delving deep into Act 2. You get a sinking feeling and a strong sense of dread and foreboding that threatens to physically bring you to your knees. Ah, here it is. Okay, I know what to do. His voice is suddenly drowned out. You whirl around to the wall where the sheet is secured over the hole. The ichor has returned. It's seeping through the space between the staples, oozing through the sheet. It's as if it's following you, as if you'd lost it and now it's found you. Oh. You hear Oscar rummaging around behind you and the sound of scissors cutting. What is he doing? You turn to him, desperate to make him understand. You need to run, something is coming, something dangerous, you can feel it, you have flashes of some kind of dream, nightmare, vision of the arcing swing of an arm and the spray of blood, the overwhelming smell of rotting flesh. You make a run to the stairs and Oscar catches you by the arm before you go more than a few steps. Wait, I just need to grab something, wait, I just need something from the closet. You're shaking your head frantically, your breath coming in heaving gasps. No. Your voice sounds as painful as it feels, but you can't keep the desperate plea inside. We need to go now. You turn towards the stairs. This time, Oscar places himself between you and the stairs. Fear and rage flare up within you. You try and rush past him anyway. You're beyond waiting, beyond patience, beyond reason. Your prey being run down by the predator, and Oscar was the idiot standing between the two of you. You need to run, and he needs to run now. Can you just fucking trust me and wait 2 minutes? No, you don't understand, we have to go! If you run up there right now, the only thing that will happen is a reenactment of what we saw, potentially with more eye gouging. Wait. You let out a snarl of rage. Just go! You go then! You can't stay here, you're gonna die! Your mind fills with images of Oscar, cleaved by shadows, his mouth opening in a silent scream. It fills you with a panic that crests into fury. You're so arrogant! You think you know everything and you're gonna get us killed, we're gonna die! Just go! Go without me, leave! Oscar sputters. It's strange to see him speechless. He rakes his fingers through his hair, looking around him with a crazed look in his eyes. His eyes land on yours, and his expression shifts from something wild to a fierce kind of determination. Oscar closes the gap between the two of you in a step that feels more like a lunge. He catches your face with one massive hand, the other pulling you in by the small of your back, and his mouth collides with yours. Oh! Kissing during the moment of danger, are we? It's a desperate, frantic kind of kiss, and you find yourself kissing him back with equal intensity, ripping a handful of his soft brown curls and crushing him to you, pressing yourself against him as if you could eliminate any and all space separating you. You're overwhelmed with pure need and heat. It's absolutely terrifying. For a few moments, your mind is so much clearer, and you feel like you can inhale. You can smell the scent of his aftershave, faint traces of pine wood and smoke, and feel his teeth scraping against your bottom lip. It pulls you back from whatever void you've been spiraling into and hurls you back into your body. He breaks the kiss, his chest heaving as he tries to catch his breath. Immediately, your cheeks flush with embarrassment. Did you just kiss me to make me shut up? Or was it to make me listen to you? That's manipulative as fuck, you piece of shit. The hysterical, laughing sound, so very unlike him, that erupts from him, cuts you off. If I want to manipulate you, that is the last thing I would do. I know you better than to resort to that. I know you well enough to know that I could never sway you, and certainly not in my favor. But that's it. You're it. That's just how it is. So no, I'm not leaving you. I can't leave you, so stop fucking asking. He releases you abruptly, leaving you stunned and reeling from his admission, and returns to the sweatshirt he pulled from your closet. Your gaze is pulled towards the hole in the wall. As you watch, you can see movement behind the sheet. Out of nowhere, maggots burst through the sheet. It tears open and they spill en masse, pouring over each other in grey wriggling clumps. Oscar! You hear them hitting the floor, pouring from the hole in the floor, falling off the side of the bed. They clamber over each other, forming a shape against the wall. It's the outline of a tall, thin person, but you're entirely certain it isn't a person. Suddenly, Oscar is jamming a sweatshirt over your head backwards. He yanks the hood up, and you find that he's cut 2 eye holes poorly mapped and askew into the hood. He takes a long piece of ribbon and ties it around your forehead, securing the hood tightly to your face. He takes your face in his hands, and it's hard to breathe through the hood with the cloth pressed against your mouth, but you don't want him to let go. We're going upstairs, then we get up there. I'm going to tell you what to say. He has to yell over the sound of maggots spilling endlessly from the walls. Say exactly what I say, think it too, scream it in your mind and nothing else, you understand me. You nod once, just as the entire room shudders with the sound of something breaking away from the back wall. He doesn't wait to make sure you understand. You're both sprinting up the stairs. When you get upstairs, you freeze in the foyer. It stinks like rotting meat, like decay. A grey streak darts into your field of vision, and before you can register what's happening, Oscar has left your side, bending down, then returning almost immediately. Bartholomew is tucked under his arm, looking stunned to have been seized in such a manner. The rumbling from downstairs is getting worse, making the entire foyer shudder. You both charge for the door. You feel the terror rising up to consume you once more. You hear a voice cut through the air, reverberating off each wall as if it came from everywhere at once. It didn't sound like a voice or even human, despite you easily understanding the words. Oh, there he is. Unmasked, little scorpion. There's no need for this disguise. I know you. I know you. Oscar is wrestling with the cat who tries to bolt when the voice began. Can they hear it too? Say you wear no mask. Oscar yells as he gets Barty firmly by the scruff, frantically struggling off his jacket to wrap it around the thrashing creature. I wear no mask. The house shudders again, but as you lunge towards the door, the Ica doesn't appear. You shout it again and again, and you both burst forward, sprinting onto the deck into Oscar's car, where things are entirely peaceful, quiet, and calm. From the outside, there are no signs of what's going on within. Oscar swings open the car door and throws a very angry Bartholomew into the car. He slams the door closed, then leans his back against the door, slumping against the vehicle. Standing in front of him, you can feel the fog pull back from your mind, and more yourself returns. Your memories become clear once more. The recollection of your parents' and sister's trip no longer hazy in your mind. Your arrival home after they left, the time you spent here since arriving, it's all returned to you, how you once known it to be. Oscar lifts his head up to look behind you and grins. He's trying to hide his relief behind a smirk. He unties the ribbon and lowers your pseudo-mask. The fresh air is heaven in your lungs. So, I bet you'd like to hear how I figured that out. You look so damn smug. Care to bask in my brilliance? Grovel in thanks for my heroics? No, I would not. You grin at him and he gathers you up in his arms, pulling you tightly to him, his voice dropping to a growling purr. Let's see what we can do to change that, shall we? His mouth crashes against yours. You're safe now. He murmurs, burying his face into your neck, holding you to him. Is that what you really wanted, little scorpion? Did you find what you seek? Somehow? I suspect not. And Oscar is done. Let's move on to Aster. My love of my life. Yeah, I want Aster to stay. Oh my god. Still hot though. Wood. Why does he kind of remind me of, you know, the dark side, Heartless in Kingdom Hearts? Now that I think about it, that Heartless. Also wood. That's your choice. How deliciously unexpected. Of course, little scorpion. The UI changed as well. Those words ring through you like a distant bell chiming from the back of your mind. Are you sure? I don't want to impose, you've already done so much. Oh my god, okay. Blood red paints your vision, dipping the world around you in scarlet. Me. Why, I could do so much more, should you desire it. Oh, like what? Yay, the room is bloodstained, and this man has suddenly revealed himself to be some sort of monstrous eldritch entity. Still hot though. Should I desire? Oh my god, look at his face. He looks like he's about to devour me. Ugh, hot. Your head sears with impossible pain. Your mind feels fractured. A jumbled horror of grotesque images flash too quick for you to make any sense of them. When you wobble, Aster's already at your side. They pull you close, one arm wrapped around your waist. Oh. Your hands meet a sturdy chest, and they tighten their grip around you as they keep you upright. You almost feel weightless in their arms. He purrs in your ear. He growls in your ear. Did you see that glitch? Easy there, my little scorpion. You can't bring yourself to question the spell of the hypnotic voice. You don't want to. Instead, you cling to him, as if he is your lifeline until the pain passes. His scent, an irony kind of ozone, fills you with some semblance of wholeness that you haven't felt in days. His scent, an irony kind of ozone, fills you with some semblance of wholeness that you haven't felt in weeks. Aster's face is only a breath from yours. Golden eyes drag over your features. He looks ravenous. Yes, now. Oh my gosh. Wanna do it? Huh? You have a story forming in your mind. A good one. Go write it down. As if his voice manifests from reality itself, a thought creeps up from the edge of your subconscious, twining towards your outstretched hand. A story. Exactly. His voice is enticing, but you hesitate. Scared? Don't worry, little scorpion. You've already stung, already drowned. Nothing could hurt you now. You sit down at your desk and grab your pen. Your body feels oddly disconnected from you, as if you command it from miles away instead of within. But your mind, there's a quickness to it, a frantic edge that is surfacing, cresting and threatening to overtake you. You know the feeling well. Your pen moves, almost of its own will. There's breathing in the walls, the breaths race through the halls of cartilage, rattle rafters of bone and sinew. They will bring the whole house down. The story pours from you, of a house remote in location and yet located perfectly, where the deepest thresholds of the unknown caress reality, bend it, shape it and sculpt it, where only the chosen can breathe this darkness in, become one with it and bear it into being. And in this house, a family, unsuspecting, flawed, boring. But they will never be boring again, for one of them has found it, the flesh within the walls. I can see them, but they cannot see me. I have never been seen, but I know their true faces. They can't fool me. Your hand cramps as you write, but you can't stop. The words consume you, demanding entrance. Your hand cramps as you write, but you can't stop. The words ravage you, demanding entrance. Your hand cramps as you write, but you can't stop. The words ravage you, demanding escape. You lose yourself in this reality. Then there's a scream, so distant, as if it's coming from the back of your mind. No, it's coming from upstairs. Oh, Jesus, okay. You're no longer in your room, you're in the foyer. Is this where the scream came from? But there's no one here. You step forward, and there's a squelch. When you glance down, your sock is sinking into a soaked rug. Everything is stained red. You stumble back and fall, warm crimson liquid splattering everywhere, and you bite back your cry. Hands shaking, you reach for the edge of the rug. It's so much heavier than it looks, heavier than it should be. Saturated. Iron invades your senses. Blood pools endlessly from underneath the rug. This time you can't hold back your cry and you drop the rug. Drops of viscous liquid spray into your mouth and it tastes of iron. You can't even scream, your throat ragged from your gasps. You're standing by the hall mirror. The blood seems to be gone, but you can feel it congealing on your skin. Oh no. Suddenly, you hear Aster's voice from just behind you over your shoulder. You're ravishing. You see a flash of your own face in the mirror, but you hardly recognize yourself. You're grinning and splattered in a horrifying amount of blood. Did I kill my family? You gasp and turn away quickly, facing Aster. He smiles. Golden eyes gleam at you and they look almost warm. He moves towards you with otherworldly languidness, his tongue moistening his lips briefly. Your heart throbs with fear, but you hold your ground, keeping your eyes on his. You feel a tug of desire from deep within. Oh yeah, you bet your ass I do. He's utterly terrifying. This one. You take half a step closer, and his eyes darken, his smile unnaturally wide. I knew I'd choose well, my sweet little scorpion. He steps forward and your bodies are a hair's breadth from each other. You expect to feel heat from his body, but instead it feels more like entering an electric field. What a beautiful monster you are. I am going to savor this. His gaze drops to the corner of your mouth, his eyes narrowing on the spot. He tilts your jaw towards him, drags the pad of his thumb tortuously across the surface of your lips. The contact makes your skin tingle and leaves you breathless. All of your body is demanded by that one single finger. The finger comes away, crimson. Your mind is reeling. You're losing your grip on reality. What's happening? As you try to gain your bearings again, you realize you're still sitting at your desk, your pen stilled over the paper. Then the second scream comes. Its pitch is blood-curdling, one of absolute terror and pain. Your throat tightens with horror. You would know your sister's voice. Anywhere. She's calling for you. As you leap from your chair, Aster's hands find firm purchase on your shoulders and press you back down into your chair. It's a gentle motion, as if you were placing a teacup on a saucer, despite you pressing your full strength against him. Not yet, Yinny. His voice is tantalizing. It drowns out the echo of the terrifying screams. One hand leaves your shoulder, reaching over to tap the pages before you with one elegant finger. Nothing is said, but the message is clear. Keep writing. You obey and turn the page with oddly steady fingers. It's only when his face dips to your neck, his breath brushes against the skin just above your pulse does your hand tremble. Don't make me say it. You put your pen to paper, but it's already filled. Feast, feast. Oh my god, okay. I think we're having a psychological break. Oh, good lord. The word is scrawled so many times over the page, devolving into scribbles at some points, the incoherent ramblings of someone that's lost their mind. Oh no. Oh boy. The word rips through the paper in some places from sheer force and repetition. There's a drawing of your front door of the foyer with the blood-soaked rug, where you saw yourself grin as you were drenched. There's a drawing of a skull-like face pressing through a white sheet as if trying to devour something on the other side. Oh my god. Wood. Then there's a drawing of a shadowy figure, longer and leaner than even Aster, silhouetted in the entrance to the foyer. On the last page, only one thing is written, clear and calm. I've done it. I've killed them all. It's finally quiet. Did I kill my family? So very quiet. Your blood runs cold. Aster's low voice hums through you. His mouth so close you can feel the rumble in his murmur, his tone enticing. Be careful. Get too lost in that books of yours, and you'll have trouble differentiating fiction from reality. You turn suddenly to face him. Oh my god. Aster's eyes flash. They glow with an ominous yellow luminance that casts an eerie shadow over his features. Something wrong? His voice is deep and dark, a croon that seems to emanate from the shadows gathering in the corners of your vision. I mean, something is definitely wrong. First of all, room is covered in blood, foyer is covered in blood, I think I've killed my family, and you keep turning into some eldritch monster. You're still hot though. Were the horrors that you experienced too strong? All those glitches, hallucinations? Was your psyche unable to handle the weight of the truth? Did I misjudge you, my little scorpion? Or perhaps you push him away, but Aster closes the distance between you in less than a breath faster than you can fathom. They press you against your desk, caging you between their arms. Oh, are we gonna do it on the desk? Their face hovers close to yours. I thought I had provided you with what you desired. That was our agreement, was it not? And yet it still wasn't enough. Do you crave for more? Or perhaps, do you crave me? Yeah, yeah. Oh, we should totally do it. He leans even closer into you. Yeah. You're trapped between the hard edges of the desk and the firm contours of his body. Oh. Equal parts terror and exhilaration fill you in an intoxicating mix. You shouldn't want this, but you do. That's such a mood. Your breath is ragged, beyond your control, and your eyes are locked entirely on his, trapped by his cobra stare. Is that why you come running to me? Kept picking and chipping away at what I gave you? Were you looking for me? Perhaps, deep down you know. The other men you desire won't satisfy you. You and your wicked desires. I mean, I am into some pretty wild stuff, like eldritch monsters. Only I see you. Only I know you. Push the voice away or reach for the memories. I mean, why would I push him away? He's so hot. I don't know, Yinny, maybe because he's about to devour your soul? And that's when you remember. The flashes of the memory, the screams, the skeleton safely sealed on the wall behind you, wrapped in sheets of plastic. The what? That's when you remember. The pain that shoots up your arms as you drag your ruined nails over the walls, desperate to get inside. The madness that had raked your soul clear from your body until there was nothing left. And this creature, the one who salvaged your soul, nurtured it, and returned it to you. The one who knows every deep, dark crevice and saw something beautiful. I've given you everything you want. Everything. Now it's your turn. His mouth hovers over yours. Long, slender fingers brush up your neck, sliding tantalizingly over your jaw before firmly holding your chin. The feeling of it all sends a shiver through you. Now it's my turn. I claim my prize. I claim you. Yeah, go ahead. Relinquish yourself to me. Try to escape. Push him away. Kiss him. Yeah, let's fucking go. You angle your face towards his, your breath hitching. He captures your mouth with his before you can close the distance and you crash together. One arm wraps around you. His hand intertwines into the cloth of your shirt, pressing you impossibly closer. The other cradles the back of your head in a gesture that would be tender if it were not for the sheer strength of it. His teeth Razor-sharp graze your bottom lip and a shiver convulses your spine. You wind your own fingers through his hair, cool and soft against your skin, clawing at him. Your breath is uncontrolled, gasping. His. It's a devouring kiss, threatening to ruin you entirely, and everything simply fades away. Oh, he's so hot. My god. Oh, he's so pretty. Oh my gosh, look at the UI change. Oh, it's so good. Oh, I love that so much. But yeah, that was Titan Arum. Thank you so much for experiencing this story with me. I loved it so much. I'm such a big fan of Eldritch horror, and also, why would I ever say no to like a hot, sexy monster man, right? Right? I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Feel free to let me know in the comments below who did you like the most, Aster, Oscar, or Theo. But yeah, if you guys like this video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. And if you want to hang out outside of streams, I stream on Twitch 4 times a week. Feel free to come over and hang out. I am playing some Elden Ring at the moment. Thank you so much again, and until next time, take care.